Welcome back. Episode 32 of the Love Boat Project. I am Mike Robertson, along with Mike Taylor. Mike, congratulations. You are not the father of Vicky Stubing.
Let me just say. We'll get into it. It's good to see you, Mike.
So the last thing we talked about last episode was we knew that the Vicky character was coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Not in her regular role, but this was the introduction to what it will eventually be.
Same name, right.
The sixth character of the Love Boat, the sixth regular character. So we were curious to see how they would unveil it. And you and our previous guest, Tanya and Buddy, I believe you guys all said some sort of like the ex-wife had a baby and didn't tell him and that kind
clandestine. Yeah.
Right. And I think I went with one night stand. I don't think either of us were right.
No.
And to be honest with you, I'm still not exactly sure.
No. No, nobody is. I don't think Meryl is. Nobody knows what happened. Nothing.
We had multiple flashbacks.
How does a flashback not provide some sort of like, oh, now it's in context?
Flashbacks and a voiceover letter, and I still don't really know what happened.
Oh, forgot about the voiceover letter. Yeah, no, everyone's so vague. What would you like for breakfast? Food. What? No. I know, but what kind of?
Oh, you know who really liked food? Georgina. So
dude, she was all about it.
We'll get into it, but it's like they skated between him having zero idea what's going on to him being so far ahead of the curve with everything that every little subtle clue that gets dropped, he's like, he seemed more flummoxed this week than last week with the illusions. And honestly, I'm not even sure that was the weirdest part of this episode. Anyway, we are here to talk about Love Boat Season 2, Episode 7, 90 minutes for some reason.
Why? Why?
A time for everything, including this. The song is ended. Accidental cruise. And because it's 90 minutes, we got a fourth storyline. And what are we going with pronunciation on this thing? Anshuka?
Oh, her. Oh.
I wrote Russian Swit.
Russian Swit. Yeah.
Okay. So
well, as you can see, if my name tag this week, it says Mikhail. So I am all aboard the Loretta Switinsky.
I have vodka in here, just a splash of vodka, because if you liked the subtlety of the cosmonaut inspector guy, you'll love Russia Swit. Good Lord.
Was she? Let me just ask this, because they had her like dressed, dare I say, scantily at times.
Eventually. Well, slinky, Mike. I think that's
slinky. I'm sorry.
Slinky, yeah.
I want to be.
How you say slinky?
How you be slinky? Just
so much of
was
that.
she considered like a
foxy lady?
Yeah, like a non.
Well, I think in the context of that, she was the lead love interest type person on the most popular show in the country at this time. I would say yes, but like maybe not in real life. Like she's not popping on a Playboy or anything, but
like in that day and time, if there was a People magazine, sexiest man alive, sexiest woman alive, is she that?
Well,
then?
but it's it's interesting. I think she's got a vibe. I think it's a lot of vibe, right? And I think part of that is in the show too. I think she carries herself in a way that, yes, I do think that she would be on that list. Is she? She's not Barbie Benton, right? Or one of the Charlie Angels or something
have a perfect
like that.
Yeah, no perfect nose for Miss Swit.
Listen, this isn't her fault. This is stupid, and it's just we're just a victim, and we're probably going to get this junk the whole run of the show, because much like wrestling and action movies, late 70s, early 80s TV is all about, these cartoon character foreign enemies or whatever. And so that's what we got.
100%.
Yeah.
It was shocking from the beginning. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, there was
Nice to meet you again, Loretta.
and unnecessary. Like, you could have gotten there in a much different way. She didn't have
Oh,
to be chasing moose and squirrel. Like, it
it
was
was,
just,
yeah, I bring my own vodka on boat. Like,
oh
you brought
Lord.
your own. Okay. All right.
Well, anyway, if you can't
Yeah.
figure it out by now, the synopsis for this one, get ready. Captain Steubing is reunited with his daughter. So
That's
the
not,
synopsis has decided that
they're already, what, why? Because they both have blue eyes? Is that what the determination
they
is?
love, plus the
And an
mom
old
loves
sea
sweet.
captain has questionable flashbacks with no, no context in the end? Great.
Flashbacks. Flashbacks. Give him credit. Give him
We took his
credit.
hat off.
Well,
Flashback.
hold on. Give him
Oh,
credit.
I'm young
They
Stewie.
darkened his hair.
They did. I did. I did.
Give him credit.
They
I
did.
appreciate the effort. The jewel in this mess this week, former songwriters Charlie and Bert are reunited on board after
Mhm.
kind of accidentally running into each other. There's more to that for sure. The tacked on storyline winner is that a boss and his secretary get drunk and end up on a boat by accident, which sure.
In one of the best cabins on the boat
Yeah.
without
Yeah,
ID. They didn't even ask. It just would they open the door and just let them fall in?
that one's got a curtain too. And yeah, as we talked about, a Soviet cruise line commissar falls for Doc. So when I look into the what else is on, which we will get to here in a second,
I'm very
I
excited
usually
about that
go
too.
into the old newspapers,
Mm,
and it's the old like daily TV guide that they used to put with the grid and everything, and then they have
yeah.
the synopsises. Sometimes they're too short for us to use, but in those synopsises, there's also sometimes like a little box, and it's got just all caps, and it's really just to grab your attention. Like,
Mhm.
not everybody gets one. There's only a few on each page. Love Boat made it this week. This is so much better than the synopsis I just read.
Oh.
This is all caps, and bear in mind, hot lips makes Doc see red.
Ooh. Ooh, that's good.
So good.
That's so good.
Good job by whoever's in charge of that.
Oh, so that's interesting to me that they push episodes in that way. Right? You got all these people on the show. You know what I mean? Why didn't Soupy Sales get that sort of love in the print?
Pie Man.
Oh, hey, yeah, I got some questions about him, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
What else is on? Well, here's the thing. This is 90 minutes, so we're covering different ground this week.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Don't
Wait,
get
wait,
too
wait. What
excited.
what time was it on? Did it
This was
end at
on from
11?
8 to 9:30
What?
because behind it was a 90-minute Fantasy Island. So they were putting
Oh,
spelling to work here. Uh,
that's a big
it
night.
is the first weekend of sweeps. So I do wonder. I did intend to, and I didn't do it, but I will do it for next week. I think it's time to look into the ratings for this season of the Love Boat because 90-minute episodes means they're probably doing well. And what was on CBS tonight? Going up against it starting at 8:30? This feels like a direct attack on the Love Boat.
It's not the show
It's a
with the ladies
it's
anymore?
American Girls. We cannot I do not want to know what happened to American Girls. It is not American Girls.
It's not American Girls. I'm trying to
The
think what existing shows were
It's
was the
not a show, my
Jeffersons?
friend. It's a feature movie. The
CBS
Poseidon
movie?
Adventure. So they are going full boat against the Love Boat.
What year did that come out?
Like 72, 73
So it was a
ish
newish movie
recent.
for back
Yeah.
then. For no
And
VHS or yeah.
just to really up the ante, Red Buttons is in it. Local creep, Red Buttons.
What was he molesting the people that worked on it?
I think we talked about this the episode he was on. I can't remember if he dies or if he's married to Shelley Winters and she dies, or if I'm thinking of Towering Inferno, where he dies in the elevator.
It's, it all
If
goes
anybody
together.
does Towering Inferno Project, let me know. I love that movie. I would
Give us
watch
a
that
ring.
movie and talk about that again.
I can
I'm pretty
respect
sure
that.
Red Buttons dies hilariously in an elevator riding outside the building. So, um, that's on CBS, and that started at 8:30. The
Heavy
Jeffersons
hitters.
was on at 8,
Hmm.
but we basically got Poseidon for 2.5 hours over on CBS.
Wow. Yeah,
NBC,
they're swinging for the fence with that one, man. You think about that because that's not their normal. NBC is normally the one with the movie.
yes,
CBS
yeah,
always had the
yeah,
Jeffersons and Good Times and all these other things.
or American Girls.
Or
R.I.P.
American
American Girls.
Girls.
I don't know if we're ever gonna see him again.
Were they on at like 1 a.m.? Like
Well,
that
we only
Reno
have
Rains time?
7 we
Huh?
only have 7 episodes of them left anyway. I don't know where they're
Oh.
going to air.
Well, remember last week they showed a repeat of the first episode.
That's not good. That's not a
No,
good
it's never
sign.
good.
That's not a
Never
good sign.
good.
Um, NBC at 8, Chips,
Solid.
another friend of the show,
Mm,
Jimmy Jam.
love it.
This episode this week was named High Flyer. Punch battles his fear of flying. John deals with a teenager's crush on him. And my favorite arc here, both patrolmen serve the LA Rams cheerleaders with a traffic ticket.
Like on separate incidents.
I don't know if they like
Yes.
have a maybe they have
What
a
was
bus.
it?
Do they
Well,
have a cheerleader mobile?
yeah, maybe or a van. They
I mean,
pulled
weren't they
over a
playing in
bus.
Anaheim back then? So that could be quite a ride for them. The good news is this distraction did not impact the Rams, who beat the Bucks 26-23 the next day. So,
I'm glad you looked. They got the old bump. You know what I
there you
mean? They
go.
got the
Yeah.
they got the bump. Good for them.
The big one tonight.
Hmm.
Now, I am curious to see if you've ever heard of this. On NBC at 9, it is part 4 of a 12-part miniseries called Centennial. I had never heard of it. I had no idea, and I feel like I had heard of all, like, the big
Yeah, like the
miniseries, right?
Thornbirds,
Lonesome
Civil
Dove, Roots,
War, all that
obviously, like, yeah.
Shogun. Yeah.
So the synopsis was this thing started October 1st and finished up in, like, February, so they were running this thing, like, all over the place.
Hmm.
I feel like CBS maybe was having trouble. Drama or NBC, sorry, was having
NBC, yeah.
trouble. So this is about the economic
Ooh.
and cultural growth of Colorado, spanning 2 centuries from the mid 1700s to the late 1970s.
Who is it starring? Is it starring Mr. Paint Drying?
So I looked at the
Oh,
cast just in general. Now the problem is it's a miniseries spanning 200 years, so I assume a lot of these guys were in like one episode. But
well,
there's a
yeah,
lot of guys in there.
they lived till like they were 30 back then. So I mean, you need.
Raymond Burr's in there. Robert
Oh,
Conrad's in there. Um, Alex Karras is in there. It's like so. I wondered if this was White Roots. Like, was this a response to Roots? Like,
wow, I didn't think about that. Well,
that's the first thing I
I
thought
mean,
of.
it's
It
about
just
the
feels like very
frontier.
like it's just like Colorado, really. Like,
It doesn't feel very necessary, you
it
know?
sure as hell doesn't feel necessary for 12 episodes.
No.
Like,
Well, how long is this episode?
this thing was 2 hours. I assume they're all 2 hours. So
Oh,
it's 24 hours
it
of
was a 24
Colorado.
hour.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like
Isn't it
Craig
kind of like,
Morton.
hey, we're here. Now we live
Yeah.
here. Credits.
Yeah.
Like, what
Hey,
is
the
there
scene's
to.
great. Like, yeah.
Oh, it snows
So,
in December. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It was I was
Jeez.
really surprised. So whoever's doing Centennial Minute or Centennial Project, let us know. Like, so
Well, the other thing is, I wonder, are they running consecutive days? Because the
no,
last episode, because it was a movie on, it was the Kiss movie was last week. And
they
then
are
this.
I looked because what caught my eye was
Yeah.
12 episodes, but it runs 1978 through 1979. So it starts in October, ends in February. Not like it's not like it's every Saturday. So it's weird.
Oh, that's what you do, because people don't like to watch a show or a
Well,
game on the same day and time. Switch it up.
especially in 1978 when you could easily find out when things were on randomly. Like, so,
There's only 4 or 3 channels. It can't
uh,
be.
so,
Wow.
yeah. So I thought that was interesting. That was That was interesting, and not in a way that we've had interesting stuff
Yeah, that's
on that
different.
segment. So the credits this week, I think, yes, everybody on here I knew,
Yeah.
which very rarely happens. There's always, I mean, look at last week, like all those olds. We didn't know any of the groupies at
I think we're
all.
starting to turn because all those olds are getting really old now. You know, they're starting
Yeah.
to age out of at least being a guest on this show. I wonder if
Well,
it's going to, you know, of course, red buttons. I think you're going to get an additional, like some of them peppered in, but like
I
the
think
three groupies and things like that. I kind of see.
I think every time we think they're going one way, they go the
Oh,
other.
yeah, they're gonna.
So we'll see. This thing's
Yeah.
gonna be littered with olds. Plus, like it's easy to load up in the beginning of the season. I'll be, are we getting this
Oh,
level of star in like episode 20?
yeah,
Yeah, we'll
yeah.
see. We'll
Oh,
see.
that'd be fun.
We'll see. Fingers crossed. Uh,
I'm excited.
we start off with just absolute powerhouses. Richard Dawson as
I
Bert Buchanan and Robert Goulet as his former writing partner, Charlie Godwin.
Goulet. I want to
Oh,
make a quick
great.
note, sir.
Yes.
This is the second week in a row we were robbed of a famous mustache. We've got the moustacheless Goulet and the moustacheless Vincent Price.
Had the same thought, did a little digging. I
Yeah.
don't know that Goulet, that era Goulet was automatic mustache.
Mm,
The Goulet we know,
yeah. That's all I know.
absolutely. But it also occurred to me that most of the Goulet I know is the old ESPN Big Monday commercials and Will Ferrell doing Robert Goulet.
Well, it's
So
mostly Will Ferrell.
yeah, so but anyway, um, I thought I was surprised that Robert Goulet was on. He felt like just a guy that wouldn't be on a show like this, but
It was
maybe
out of
I don't.
nowhere. It's like if Wayne Newton had just
Yeah,
showed up. You're like,
no,
what?
Wayne
Yeah,
Newton's
it's
definitely
nothing.
going to be on this thing, right? Because
Oh,
this
a
boat's
couple
ended up in
times.
Vegas somehow.
They sell some tickets, baby.
Yeah,
Woo, you
that
know?
boat is somehow going to go up the Snake River. I have no idea. Get to the snow.
I think it's the Tigris Euphrates, I
Euphrates.
believe. What about I wonder if we'll get a Liberace appearance.
It does
I don't
feel like I mean, it's his era. You
He
could
did a
slide
lot
I
of
mean, listen,
TV.
we know there's a piano on the boat. We've seen it before. We saw it today.
We saw it this week. Although,
M
did we?
multiple pianos?
I don't know if it was the same piano because
Yeah,
this one seemed to be playing itself. I don't know, acting.
they're
We'll see.
jaunty. Um, Richard Dawson, of course, Family Feud, also Hogan's Heroes, and it was
Newkirk.
interesting. I thought he carried himself with that same effortless charm that our good friend, former Stubby winner, Bob Crane did.
100%. I am a huge Hogan's Heroes fan, and I'm a huge Richard Dawson fan. I
Yes.
loved him on Family Feud. I hoped so much when I saw him. I was like, let him be Newkirk. You know what I mean? Like, let
Yeah.
him. Oh, play that. He's zero effort. Not no 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 no. He
Not in
makes
the
it look
Norman Fell way either, right,
effortless.
yeah, yeah, effortless, yeah,
Effortless.
yeah.
It's like he's just being him. He didn't even
Yep.
seem like he was acting.
No, not
He's
at all.
amazing.
The whole episode. Spoiler, in an episode that I probably didn't like, I really liked that storyline, like,
Well,
a
apparently he
lot.
got with Julie though. That's the one thing I didn't
We'll
like.
get we'll get to that.
Oh,
The love triangle's third participant, though, is old friend Juliet Mills, who's back, um,
welcome
as
back.
June Godwin. So we got the Godwins. Get your
Mhm.
slop bucket ready. But Juliet Mills, of course, was on episode 15 last season, which was our first two-parter, where she was involved in a love triangle. So
That's right.
it- she played Dan Rowan's wife and became best friends with the mistress. All
That's
about
right.
fabrics. Crazy things with fabrics.
That was a good I thought that was a good storyline, by the way. Looking back at it now,
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the details, but I look back at it as a solid storyline
I
now.
think that episode, maybe even Scuttlebutt, right? That middle of the season was the cutoff for us in terms of we didn't know what we had. and then it kind of got bad for a while. So
Just we lose a little more elevation and then a
yeah.
little more elevation.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a gradual fall. Soupy Sales. Victor Marshall. It's funny, Soupy. It was funny. I was like, I need to look up. I know Soupy Sales. I'm pretty sure I know why I know Soupy
Yeah.
Sales. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing like something obvious. And no, it's kid show getting pied in the
Yep.
face.
That's it.
Yeah.
He had a big show,
Um.
WNEW, WWC. My
Yeah.
thing with him is I've always had a theory that that is just a massive comb over on the top of his head, right? The hair's been grown out for real. I've
Yeah.
always thought that. So my thing I was watching for in this episode were any outdoor shots with Soupy, and I didn't see one, like truly outdoors where you could verify.
No, that whole skit did not. That whole skit did
So,
not go outside. I mean, unless you count when they rolled in, right? Was that technically
but you
outside?
couldn't see the sky
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
That's a set.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all I can see when he's on is like that goofy talking thing. Like he always talks like he's doing a kid show.
It's funny
It's not
because
his real voice.
I will say this, at the beginning of their storyline, he was actually better than I expected, and then he went into
Pulled the
Soupy
thing out of
Sales,
his
but
pocket. Like who's
yeah,
this? Okay, he's
yeah.
terrible.
His partner in this one is Joanne Worley, always understated. She's playing Sandy. At one point, my wife walked in the middle, and I think it's at one of those scenes with her and Gopher, and she's just being full Joanne Worley, and my wife's like, "She's a lot," and I'm like, "No, that's her. That's her bit." Like that, she held it in for a while, but then she was like, "Bah, wah, wah, wah."
It's consistent.
"You
That
bet
was
your
funny.
bithy." Um, we already talked about it. Loretta Swit is playing Anna Shuka Mishkana, whatever, Russian, the Russian. We're not going to be pronouncing that all night. It's going to be
No.
Russian Swit, so just accept it. She's back
Yay.
after her appearance in episode 3 of season 1, the Robert Reed and her going at it. She was better in that one, but again, she did as well as you could do with what this was.
I mean, she walked into a, "You want me to do what?"
Yep,
That's the
she did.
storyline you want me to be? Well, let me ask you. If you had to place her in a different storyline this week, which of the other storylines would have fit better?
Um, I guess she could have been the wife
Well, the
of
Dawson one?
Goulet, but that would have been different. I thought the fact that she was British made it a little more charming
Yeah,
and
I
all that.
agree. Plus, she was
Um,
kind of in that triangle weird thing last time too.
right. If you had wanted to flesh out the aunt Dolores, you could have made her that, but
Yeah.
I know we always go back to her as Cagney and or Lacey and the job she never got.
That's right.
Um, but now, sadly, she's not back now till post MASH. We won't see her till season 8
Well, she's promoting Aftermash at that point, I
in
would
a
imagine.
two-parter that I did happen to just take a peek at because we're not going to
Ooh.
remember by 2030 or whenever we're doing this. That boat is somehow in Paris. So,
What? How did
yeah,
they get the they go
I,
across the
I don't know.
Strait of Magellan? Like, what?
I listen. I think we've
That's a
talked about.
long cruise, my
Haven't
friend.
we talked about season 8? That's the bad season. That's post Julie. They bring on new Julie. Like I imagine.
Is that
I
when
think
Ted
we're going to
McGinley
be.
joins the cast?
I think that's after that. I think like
Oh,
I'm not even sure. I shouldn't speak out of turn, but I know it's post Julie, and I'm already mad about that. So
yeah, I'm bummed about that already.
you know who will be on that episode though, and all episodes in season 8
Vicky.
is Jill Whelan as Vicky. Now she's listed as Steubing in the credits, which
That
I I think it was
like slow
Strickland in
your
the
roll.
show,
Everyone
right?
needs to
Like
slow down. Like,
yeah, let's get some blood. Let's get
let's
some blood here before we start.
like everybody's jumping to conclusions here. Like, there's no
Yeah. Like
ex-
we've had this thing like Robert Urich when his ex-girlfriend was pregnant, he just assumed that was true. We gotta get some. Where's Barry Sheck? Let's get Barry Sheck on this boat. Get some
no
DNA
kidding.
testing. So
Hey, bring yeah, no kidding. As long as it's not Barry Keys hasn't been trained to do Barry Sheck's job, I'll be fine with it.
it's butter. You're you're all butter related. So
Ugh.
um Vicky won't be back now till the middle of season 3.
What's the point? What was the point of bringing her this season?
Well, I guess the thing
This
is, it's
early.
like, is this long-term booking or was this a one-off and they eventually went back to it? It is
What's the
odd
point?
to
Yeah.
not go back to it this season. It is
Why
odd.
not wait till season 3, do it early in the season, then wait a few, and then, oh, something,
Or
something, something.
the only thing I can think, and maybe when we get closer, we'll actually do like research on this because this feels like something we could probably find out. But she was so good, right? Like
She was good.
Joe Whelan was very good, and there are issues with that whole thing, but it clearly like gave Steubing a direction, whether you liked it or not, whatever.
Well, it made him accountable to a certain, like, level of consistency. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and
Right,
you
I
know what
would
else it
hope.
does? You know what else
Huh.
it does too? It gets him the hell out of the rest of the storylines. Just let him go be a dad over there. And so my point is
Yeah.
maybe they weren't expecting this to be more than just a one-off, but um maybe
I
once they
think
got
it
through this doesn't bode well for the rest of season 2 Steubing is what I'm saying because I feel like if it was like, man, after that episode, Steubing's been killing it. We don't need to add anything. Like so.
just you'll see. Well, it's funny after I watched the episode, I was taking down writing down a couple of thoughts, and the first thought was, yeah, this is Steubing's attempt at getting the big Stubby award next season. Like for this season. Like that's all that this is just a blatant this is him trying to win, an Emmy. Like all these flashbacks that
It
didn't
was
lead to any
it
greater
was
understanding.
very dramatic.
Do you see
Like
how many times he almost came to tears? Do you see
uh
that? And he was like,
very
I'm not
dramatic, very dramatic.
it was
And the thing is too, it's like when you're trying to make a 60-minute episode, a 90-minute episode, you
a
got
lot.
time to work those ducks, baby. You
It was
got
me
time to work on those tears.
slow close-ups, like he's right in the camera was in his eye
Yeah,
at one point.
they used the Gary Collins and the liar close up from last week.
Ooh,
Same camera. Just get in
it was
there.
crazy.
Um I wanted to shout out a new writer for this
Mm,
season. This is their second episode, but they wrote the um, songwriting bit, which, as I said, I thought was the best of the bunch this week.
yeah.
That would be Lan O'Coon, who wrote the song is ended. They also wrote the Richard Mulligan fighting storyline from episode 4, which I think I liked more than you did, but
It was alright.
um,
I like that they fought.
yeah. Lan's got some songwriting history as well, so I wonder if
Mm.
he was involved in the penning of those fine tunes that we heard. He worked with Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop, or Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
Ooh, I was a big fan when I was a kid,
Yep.
man. I used to love lamb chop. Yeah,
31 episodes for Lan over the run of the show, so we will see more of them, including 3 more this season.
interesting.
Portal Report. Feel like we're getting an actual direction now?
Yeah, I felt the same way. I think we've shifted because every single one of them, there was eye contact. It
Mhm.
was I felt like it was an intentional portal shot
Yeah, it was like,
consistently,
here's what we want you to do."
and they didn't even give you the ticker tape.
Yeah.
No close-ups on the
No.
ticker tape.
No,
Like
if
last week, they
anything,
gave you both.
we had a shot behind people watching the boat go out.
Yeah, that was so well, you know what, too? I'm surprised they didn't do both considering it was a 90-minute episode where
Yeah.
time is a commodity.
Well, you know what I find too is as I'm doing the notes for the rewatch, basically, I feel like that's when I'm looking down a lot, so I'm missing some of these transition shots sometimes. So some of these shots may already be in
Saw
the
some new ones,
roll,
though.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it did feel like there were new ones. There was an overhead shot, whatever a drone was, and I guess it was a helicopter. But there's overhead shots of the
Crane,
boat with
maybe. Yeah.
people like out on the deck.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think they might be doing well. It seems like they have poured some money into this thing. It looks better, right? Like
Or they're just taking footage. They're going down to the dock and renting a helicopter and filming, you know what I mean? They could be doing it
it just looks like
to
a
make it
better
look more
show.
legit.
The last few episodes, like the actual like cinematography of the show looks better.
Well,
There's
and
more
I will say
camera
the sets
angles.
look a little better too.
Right. They're
I mean,
they're
the cabins are the cabins. There's nothing you can do, which is smart.
right. Yeah.
But now, yeah, I agree. I
But
agree.
like we will get to it here in a minute, but like when Goulet is coming into the boat, they're coming, I guess, up a stairwell or something like that. But we don't really
Mhm.
ever see that. Like,
I don't know when
it's
that
like, and that's all you need to do. Just don't. There was a stretch there where we were basically seeing the same 3 or 4 sets every
right.
week, and
And for the record, I say we've still not seen the bridge. We've not
no,
seen the steering wheel, and we've been
no.
saying this since day one. We have not seen, like, the driving mechanism of this boat. You'd think you'd at least see the
We don't
captain's
think it's
wheel.
we don't think it's this.
No,
The
the
wires, yeah,
this
whatever that
definitely
is.
not the wires.
Yeah. Well, he's
So,
busy,
this
Mike. I don't know if you saw how busy he was this week.
I mean, he had a lot of close-ups to prepare for.
I mean, he was playing Go Fish very early in the morning, which seems like a time you want to be out there, but
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I do I did have a question for you, Mike. So,
yes.
I've noticed this episode, we had a musical number this episode. We had a musical number the episode previous.
3 out of the last 4.
Right, 3, right? What was the 3rd musical
So we
performance? I
had
can't
Mike and Ike,
Mike and Ike.
and
Oh,
then we had,
Fifth Dimension,
well, that was Mike and Ike,
Mike and
and
Ike.
then what was the one before that? It was, shit, what was
It
what
was
was
this
it?
this season?
Yeah, it was we didn't have one for Halloween. We had Mike and
No,
Ike, and then in episode Jam and Jimmy Warren.
Jam and Jimmy Warren.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah. So different kinds of music, varying degrees of good,
All of
but
it
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Do you think that's on purpose?
I don't know. I think so. I mean, there was so many variety shows back then where it was, you get a little this, a little comedy, a little of that.
Yeah.
I'm
It
sure
didn't feel
that
out
was
of
the thing.
place. It doesn't feel
No,
out
it
of
was
place.
fine.
And honestly, in all 3 of the episodes, it hasn't felt out of place.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I didn't have a problem with it at all. I just wonder if it is that wider net.
I hope so because it makes the nomination process for best song, you know,
It's gonna be cutthroat.
fierce.
Yeah.
Fierce competition. I mean, I nominated the crew singing a wedding song last year,
Oh,
so
that's
it's
true.
like
That's true. That's true. Many more. Well, I wonder what's the over under for total musical performances this season? Over
I mean,
10?
God, we're
It's
because
got to
I
be
think
under 10.
there might have even been one early in the season too. I mean, we're already up to episode 7. I clearly don't remember anything from the beginning of the
Well,
season
just
so
remember the
far.
first one was the shipwreck,
Right, and there was no music in that one. And
sadly.
then right, there should have been. They had 2 hours. They should have
Yeah,
had
I
music.
am alone.
Episode 2 was Norman Fell and James
Yeah,
Coco. There was no music in that.
stupid Norman Fell.
Episode 3 was, the one with Jamie. I don't remember what that was
That one.
already.
I don't remember a song from that one. So if
Episode
we
4 was The Creeps. Yeah, so I don't think we had one in the first 3.
3, so
So,
let's
yeah.
say we have 3. End of the
Yeah.
season, let's say
Oh, I mean,
over 6.
are we gonna count, like, how deep are we getting? Are we talking about, like, individual performances? Like, we're not counting the house band when the
If it's a
join
musical, because I mean, Mike and Ike, there was no house
Yeah,
band. They
that's
were
true.
just getting down on the deck.
Well, I know April Lopez comes back at some point.
There you go. Maybe it only counts if you get applause.
No.
No? Okay.
No, it's not. Whatever the rules were last year are the
Fair
rules this year. So
enough.
find the spreadsheet. One last note from me before we go on the boat. Neither of the Strickland ladies, the Strickland sisters, got portal credits. I understand Georgina not
Saw that.
getting it because she wasn't really, but I feel like Dolores, she had multiple scenes. She's pretty important
Well,
to it.
I would think that she's pretty important.
Weird for
I
her not to get a portal shot. And it goes back to what we have talked about before. What's the criteria? She's not a famous actress. Like, she's not anything like
yeah,
that, but she had
she pretty significant
important parts, right? Yes.
within the context of the whole storyline, of course. I don't know
Right.
why.
Like, I'm pretty sure her other credit on the Love
Mm,
Boat is she will be involved in whenever Vicky joins the cast,
okay.
like that episode. So I feel like I know the most going forward about that in that I know that it happens in the middle of next season.
How
So
does a little kid join the crew? Like, aren't they supposed to go to school?
Oh, I'm sorry. How does the little kid get to sail on the thing by herself?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot to suspend
yeah,
my. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We'll get to that. Anything before we go on the boat?
No, no.
All right, let's
Thank you
go.
for thank you for resetting my expectations. I don't know what I was thinking.
I checked with the line. All right, we start off, and the Russians are coming.
Oof.
Stubing comes in and introduces Russian sweat. I'm not even trying. I
No,
wrote it.
no.
I wrote it. I don't even know if I spelled it right.
It's easier.
Yeah. And as Mike said, she is dressed like Brigitte Nielsen in the beginning of Rocky Four. So,
Yeah. Like,
yeah, it's classic. It's classic 1978 Russia.
mhm.
Well, Soviet Union, USSR.
Subtle
Uh,
accent though.
yeah, I think Yakov Smirnov thought she was laying it on a little bit.
That's where he got the idea for the act. He started the next month. What a
In
country.
Russia, you steal jobs.
He was
um,
big in Branson, Missouri,
I know.
and
Yeah,
he did
he
the
might still be
commercial. And
big in Branson.
he used to tout the fact that you had magnetic trays, so you could sit and watch the show with your tray right in your lap because it was magnetic, stuck to your seat. He
Wait,
read the whole menu. It was pretty funny.
wait. Where does it stick? On the arms of the chair?
Yeah, arm. Yeah.
Oh, but does that mean it covers the whole both arms? Because like, what if I'm sitting next to a stranger?
Well, how deep are the armrests too? That's what I'm wondering. I'm
Yeah,
sure that.
like it's like
Yeah,
an
it's got
Adirondack
you
chair. You're
pinned.
like way back.
You can't even.
Great. Thanks,
Ugh.
Yakov. That's got to kill him that this show pissed out before he got big because like he would have been on every season,
Oh yeah. Oh,
probably
he
as
was perfect.
himself.
He's
Like,
gonna be I'm a stowaway. Like
oh,
I could see the whole thing.
he would have been he would have been April Lopez if Love Boat
He
started
would
like
have performed his.
1987. Yeah,
Oh yeah, he would have performed his. Absolutely.
but he's not here. Instead, we have Loretta Swit.
Instead, we
Um,
have Loretta.
the conceit of this, as Stubing tells the crew, is that she is the commissar of cruise vessels for the Soviet Union, and the State Department has made a deal with the Princess Line for her to come basically observe. Now, I wanted to reach out to our friends who are well versed in Russian history, and I failed to do that. So hopefully they're paying attention and can chime in the comments. But in 1978, were we at a point with Russia that we were like, "Hey, why don't you come on in, check out these giant boats that we have, kind of get the blueprints, see where everything is." Like, that doesn't seem like something you would be willingly like swinging the door open for.
Right.
Maybe
Eh,
that's me. Yeah.
I I think that's funny.
So they go around.
Yeah.
Uh, she's introduced to the whole 4-person crew. Um, and Doc, as is his
Uh,
want, gets to be the chaperone against his
well,
will.
let me ask you: when they say what is the equivalent of a commissar? Like, what do you think,
Uh,
in your opinion? Is it the captain? Because it. Well, I
I
don't
always
think
thought it
so.
was like the secretary of,
The
like not
secretary of cruise
secretary
ships.
like not secretary like writing, like secretary like like I'm the secretary of the interior.
I think that Steubing has provided way too many details for this to be the truth. You're like, oh, and then my dog ate this and this and this and this. If you're not keeping it simple, you might
You
be
think
lying.
he walked by the commissary and he just quick grabbed that as a word and he's just like,
Imagine they do a spin-off, Meryl Stubinsky. You know what I mean?
"Oh,
Double
you think he's
agent.
a Russian sympathizer?"
At this point, why not? Julie and his new daughter that we're gonna meet or whatever it is. She's a full grown adult. Like on that Bugs Bunny thing when that full grown guy dressed as a
Baby
baby.
Huey?
Yeah. He was really a gangster on the lam. Mhm.
Anyway, more to come from that Russian bit. None of it better. So,
No, it doesn't get better than that. That's it. Yeah.
what does get better is Burt Buchanan. Burt Buchanan, by the way. Burt Bacharach, you think? Think that's a hat tip
I think it has to
in
be.
that
I
era?
think it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was such an alliterative name. It just felt like,
it was good. It felt good,
yeah. But like you said, Dawson just comes right in.
dude.
He's just like swarmed by autograph seekers. Hey, I'll get to you. It didn't even feel like he knew the lines. Like he was just
He didn't
saying it
care.
as Richard Dawson. He was just like, I'll finish these later. Don't worry about it.
He has a lot of Austin Powers energy. He
Yes.
doesn't sound like him, but he puts off that same vibe. Like, I don't know any of you ladies, but 6 of you are coming with me.
Yep. Yep. I'll get you.
Oh,
I'll get you on the flip flop.
no kidding.
Um, Julie is one of the people swooning because
Mm-mm.
that is. I think we've determined if we're saying Julie's like 28, her type is like 49. So
I completely agree.
I mean, that's kind of
Also,
what we've
mm,
seen.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
how's your gut? He wasn't a young man.
oh, Stanfield. Damn you, Stanfield.
I just one thing I noticed is Julie's hair has grown significantly between
I
last episode and this episode.
yeah, I thought it's more dramatic between last episode and the one before, which I think they're
Mm,
clearly shooting either they're shooting out of order or they took a massive break. But
yeah,
yeah,
something's up.
yeah,
Something's up.
there's clearly been and again, like I said, the last couple episodes have looked better. So I do wonder if like maybe they shoot a bunch in the summer and then take a break because like that makes sense, right? You shoot the cruise stuff when the weather's nicest.
I would think,
I don't
but
know.
then again, like how much of it's real that you couldn't just do in a soundstage with like
Yeah.
with an open roof.
Yeah. But like we have said this before, and I don't know that we'll be able to do it once we get into those weird early 80s Julie hairstyles, but this is how we
Right.
judge continuity at this point.
It's the only
So,
thing we have.
yep. Yeah, Julie has definitely got like basically Roxy Blue goggles on for Bert. Um, and Doc's like, "Is he with anyone?" And she's like, "Not yet." So,
It was very under the radar. Like they didn't really mention it much throughout the rest of the episode until the end when they like departed together, and I was like,
but they did.
"Oh,
But here's the thing: I thought that too when I watched it the first time, and then
yeah,
watching it last night. There's more there, and it doesn't go great for Julie. Like she's losing to June at every turn.
yeah." But in the end, if really what?
That's only because June got
Oh,
basically faced by Goulet.
she really
There's a
did.
point in this show where she's totally going to Richard Dawson,
Oh, 100%,
and there's
100%.
no way
She
Richard
left with them
Dawson, and
to
there's
go.
no way Richard Dawson is picking Julie.
No,
No, so not
that
because
was.
of
It's almost
Julie,
like his
because of
backup.
the candle that he's been holding for
Oh,
all these years.
like she was in the Julie was in his bullpen. Ugh.
Uh, the other half of this, the other 2/3 of this love triangle start walking up the steps. It's Charlie and June Goodwin, fresh from their home in Philadelphia.
They sound Philadelphian. Goulet, Goulet. Where are you from? I'm from 2 streets.
And I will say, Juliet Mills sounds even more like her sister in this episode than she did in the
Absolutely.
last episode.
Yeah, I
And if you
agree.
close your eyes, it's Parent Trap,
You can't.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but they're entering the boat. They're dropping all sorts of exposition, how long they've been married, and they got kids, and we've never been on a cruise, and we've never been on vacation in 12 years. And it's just, it's very charming. I enjoyed that the camera angle was different. Um, and it kind of sets the scene. I like it when they're real life outdoors, at least a little bit.
Did they say Philadelphia just because it was far away from LA where Richard Dawson's living it up? Yeah, baby. Like is that it? Just like geographically separate him much like the life that he
I think you needed a
went down.
legitimate reason for them not to have seen each other in 15 years. So,
I guess
and I
that
guess if
works.
you live in LA or even New York, maybe it wouldn't work. Also, who knows what people thought about Philadelphia in 1978? Like in terms of, is
Let's
that
go.
like, oh, this guy got out of the rat race and now
Yeah.
he's living in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I don't Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see
whatever.
that
I was
happening.
living in Philadelphia in 1978. I had just been born. But
Oh,
let me
that's
tell
right.
you, cats. That's why I'm wearing my the
Oh, very
Philadelphia
nice.
Atoms, who
Who are
may
the
or may not have been
Philadelphia
playing.
Atoms?
It's a one of those indoor soccer league teams. I don't think they were around by 78, but
Nice.
the Godwins could have gone to see a game with their children.
They sure could have.
Shout out Shibe Sports for this fine T-shirt.
Nice.
Gopher says the boat is full, except for the Wilsons, and it turns out the Wilsons are newlyweds, and they're just kind of waiting around for them. This goes back to what we had talked about a couple of weeks ago. How the hell does Gopher have real-time information?
Nothing. Yeah, there's nothing. Well, because what, he didn't see him? Because he personally didn't check them in?
Right. Like, you've got one clipboard. We know there are at least 3 clipboards and
Right.
18 entrances, like, and no internet. Gary Collins left the boat with that internet, so we have no way of knowing who's really on this boat.
Well, it doesn't even have like a walkie-talkie where you can check with other people.
Right. Right.
And the other thing too I thought about is who's not going to show up for their freaking honeymoon cruise? Like who if you know you're not going to go on that, you sort of know more than a couple hours before you're not going to make it to your
Plus, they got stood
honeymoon
up at the
cruise.
altar.
Or if they both perished.
Oh no!
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm using logic here. Well, they were no show. If not, they
Well,
never showed up or did. I don't know.
it's like the old Mitch Hedberg bit about the when they have you take a reservation and then they're like Dufresne party of 3, and they say it a couple times and then they move on to the next one and he's like, "What happened to Dufresne's?" Like, it should be a search party of 3.
That's funny.
He delivers it much better than I did. But anyway, so luckily, just as Gopher says this, here come the Wilsons. Just cartoon drunk, still drinking.
Yeah.
Just what's the open container policy in 1978 in Los Angeles? Like, they are just like,
I don't know how he made. I don't wonder how he made it that far with that glass in his jacket pocket. I wonder if that was just for like to get past security and get into the boat. You know, you got to hide your drink.
that
But
is, yeah, classy though. That
yeah, but who's wandering onto a freaking cruise ship?
the only thing
What?
they didn't highlight it, but I'll give them credit for this. I'll give them too much credit.
Hmm.
Is later on we find out that Soupy Sales does a lot of business with marinas, I think.
Yeah,
So their office might be like right there. Like, they might be across the street. So that's my only thought. I'm giving
that
them too
makes
much credit
sense.
for
That
this.
makes
But
sense.
yeah.
Maybe they're like their office is like called like the Love Dinghy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's a much
right.
smaller boat.
Oh,
They just don't like,
whoopsie. Yeah.
wrong side. Made a left. I was supposed to make a right.
They work at the low VBOT.
That's it. That's they don't know, or they're trying to get on the other cruise ship. That's the other one they were supposed to with the
Sun,
British captain.
Sun Princess.
They have an office on that ship.
Captain Norton. So anyway, I mean, whatever. We'll get to these
Yeah,
people. Steubing is chatting up Richard Dawson, tells him he'll see him around, and then he just kind of stands in the middle of the room because he's
just
got nothing to do.
because then he's like, "Wait, my storyline is about to begin. Act
Just
natural."
all it is, stand on your mark, Merrill.
Jeez.
Um, and here comes a precocious young child who asks where the admiral is, and is he the admiral? And he's not.
No, he's like, "No." I'd have been like, "Yo, I'm
Yeah,
the
and she's like,
admiral."
"Sorry for your loss, douchebag," basically. So
Yeah, why? What happened? What caused you not to?
yeah,
That's
it
great.
was funny.
Great.
I was flipping around the other night, and Airplane was on,
Hmm.
and not Julie, jeez, Vicky
Yeah.
is the sick child in the plane,
Oh wow, nice eye.
which I did not know. Oh, I didn't know it. I watched it and I was like, huh.
That's
And then I actually
interesting.
saw it when I was researching tonight. So
I wonder, like after, like say after we have this season under our belt, I bet you if we watched any of these movies, you know, like that, then we're gonna see all sorts of people,
yeah.
you know, that are recognizable, which is kind
Well,
of cool.
think about Airplane, right? She's in
Yeah.
it. Leslie Nielsen's in it.
Yeah.
Robert Hayes is in it. uh upcoming star Peter Graves.
Peter Graves.
So, and that's the only ones we know. I'm sure there's other
Yeah.
people, so.
Hey, do you think Kareem will be on the ship?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. The fact that Reggie Jackson's going to be on later this season.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. You're a big Reggie Jackson fan.
oh
But
man.
I think it's just an easy one, right? You're in LA, takes 10 minutes. You
What
you
about
just do some, "Hi, I'm Kareem. I'm here for a basketball charity event." It's like, I don't think he's going to be playing what was his Captain Under or whatever. It's like some
well, I wonder too if
Clarence
they're gonna
Clarence
I could
Under.
see like the Harlem Globetrotters being on because I mean they were on the
Oh, and they'll
Gilligan's
all be in the
Island.
portal
That'd be cool.
together.
If they were all or at least yeah, they couldn't do them so Curly, Meadowlark Lemon.
That'll be
Like you
great,
can't.
right? Lynette Woodard.
Oh, I'd be so happy if they had that. I remember the cartoon, the guy, the main Meadowlark Lemon used to pull the locker room out of his afro and they would
I
all
saw
jump in it.
I think I went and saw the Globetrotters every year until I was, like, 12.
I
That was just, like, an
loved it.
automatic
I loved it.
thing.
It
Yep.
was always the same gimmicks too. It wasn't anything crazy from the year
Oh, yeah.
before,
Yeah, they
but
didn't
it
come up
was
with new stuff.
so
Yeah.
entertaining.
And
Or
then one of
generals.
my basketball coaches at a summer camp
Yeah.
played for the Generals.
Ooh.
But he was, like, really, like, kinda salty when people are like, "Don't you guys never win?" And he's like, "Yeah, but we're really good." We're all,
That's
like,
why he's
12. It's
salty.
like,
No one would ever know that he's good. Do they just were they not to win? Like, do you just sort of
I
like
don't know
throw
what
it?
the rule is, because here's the thing, the Globetrotters are good, right? So, like,
I mean,
it's not just
maybe.
I don't know, and maybe you're not supposed to know.
Yeah. We'll ask the Globetrotters project to see if they can chime in on that one.
Every They're watching every game the
Yep.
Globetrotters have
Go
ever.
every single game. Some on the grainiest beta film, but
That's
just
right.
they're watching them.
That's right. They threw confetti on a fan again.
That's
So,
right. They went to the bucket. Oh, he called the referee Tubby. Oh, here we go. The ball on a string. Okay.
can you tell how much we love this episode?
Ugh, it's just, and it's 90 minutes of just
No, we're nowhere near.
awful.
There's like 7 acts or something. Because I break my notes out by act. I was so mad that I had to write like act 6 because I didn't need to have act 6.
It's almost like I wish
Um,
it is called the Love Boat Project, but I wish this episode was called the Love Boat, like sort of a summary because it's just
oh, I looked for somebody's notes just
God
to see if there was like a
forbid.
running list of scenes, so I didn't have to go back and watch it
Oh,
again.
it's just, and there's so many cuts. I noticed too. I was thinking,
Yeah.
oh, Mike,
Yeah.
you're making notes to this
Yep. Oh,
pile.
the my last note in here starts with "finally" all in caps. So,
Oh, no kidding.
um, so after Steuben gets faced by a 9-year-old, he turns around and runs into Dolores Strickland, who he doesn't remember her, she remembers him. And this goes on for like a couple back and forths until she mentions her sister, Georgina. Um, with that, there's an aggressive flashback for 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. Like, wow.
It was like it did the squiggly lines, it settled for half a second, and then squiggled back out.
The squiggle again. And I felt like his hair
Um,
wasn't quite as darkened in
yeah,
on the
yeah,
first one
maybe
as it
that's
was in the
why.
second one.
Yeah, when they went, maybe that was when they shot originally, and like, we can't use these.
Now look at him. He looks like crap.
Flashback. You couldn't. You got to give him a piece, right?
I swore when I felt the flashback coming, I'm like, okay, either have a hat on
Or
to
give him,
like
just give him a
raise it
piece.
so he could have hair. Get him a hairpiece in that point. At that point, I mean, come.
Because this
Where
is
did he go?
at
Would he go bald
minimum.
at 9? I mean, come on.
This is at, we're gonna do the math on all this later, but this is at minimum 9 years ago. So, and we don't.
Wh-
This is the problem: is
And
we are operating as though Steuben is Gavin McLeod's age, and they are operating as though Steuben is 100 years old. So
no kidding. It's just
it should have been like
We
There
need a
should have been,
birthday
like
episode just so they define the age at a point
there
in
should have
time.
been, like, in the background on the beach when they're, like, out there making out, it should have been like, "Dewey defeats Truman." Like, it should have been just so you had some context of
He's reading about the Lusitania. That's why
um
that's what inspired him to turn to the sea, was the thinking of the Lusitania. Whew. Alright.
um, so Steubing, like, literally is just floored by just the memory of this woman. Like, this is such a amazing love affair that the mere mention of her, brings him to his knees and stops him in
Mhm.
his tracks.
Yeah.
And yet, he didn't know that she was dead. So and at your kid, right?
Yeah.
So,
No.
like,
No.
does
That's
Dolores know? I have so many questions.
listen,
I have so many
that little girl said who her dad was, right? She described it. He passed away or whatever. I don't know. And then it was never mentioned again by the aunt or anybody else about who the father was. All we know is Vicky. Is that her name? Vicky?
Yeah,
I'm not a
Vic.
fan of Vicky, but
You're not a
I don't.
fan of Vicky? She's
No, because they're
fine.
slowly setting up to push Julie out. She's like her
I don't think
understudy.
no, I don't think that's what happens, no.
She was the one giving the Lauren Hughes all the cocaine.
Oh,
She was pushing her out. Grow your hair, Lauren. Do all this cocaine, Lauren. It's
oh,
awful.
no.
Screw you, Vicky. What was
Wow.
the question? Where
I
were
don't
we?
remember. You just hate anybody in the Steubing bloodline. You're just
You know what? That might be. That might be.
so
Well, wait. What's her last name? Do we get a last name?
so I don't know that they ever gave a last name. For
I was
some reason, I
wondering.
thought it was Strickland, like, that I saw it somewhere, and it
Right.
should be Strickland. So maybe at one point she's introduced as Vicky Strickland. So,
Maybe.
but,
Who knows? Yeah. Just wondering.
um, so Vicky is taking the cruise to Acapulco
Yeah.
to move with her aunt and uncle. I assume they have guardianship. The mom's been dead for 8 months. So, did Dolores go to LA for all that time and then now they're finally moving? Comma, why are you taking a boat to Acapulco? Let's get on a plane. Like, what are we doing here? We
I
don't
mean,
like it when anybody does it. Like, this is
well,
ridiculous. And then you can't go, and you're sending the kid by yourself.
listen, if I were to move tomorrow, okay,
Right.
let's say I were to move to, like, I don't know, Maine.
Okay.
I'm not driving. I'm taking a boat, Mike. I'm getting one of those cube things, loading it on a ship, and I'm taking a boat. You know
Oh, you're
why? Two
wait,
words: less traffic. That's
wait,
it.
wait, wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait. So you're taking one of your moving cubes, dragging it down to the dock,
Yep.
and having them stow it for you?
And then we're gonna boat it. That's what they say, boat it. We're gonna boat it to Maine.
That's classic Atlantic. This is a good week for that too. There's no, like, storms in the
Oh,
Atlantic. That's
what
a
could
great
go
time.
wrong?
So, um, Dolores is insistent that she, like, called the cruise line to make sure it was okay that she could dump a 9-year-old on the boat.
Who said yes? Who would say, oh,
Oh, you
how
know
do
who
you
it
not
was?
say not without a chaperone?
I know 100% who it was.
Who?
Audrey Steubing,
Oh,
or Audrey Skarsgård, or whatever the hell his name
that's who
was.
it is. That's
Yep,
that's fine.
all ties in. This bastard child can sail
Yeah,
alone.
yeah.
Oh my god, see,
9.
there's your storyline.
Ugh.
Um,
What, she comes back to try to kill him? Vicky's like, "I'm gonna take you out, Meryl." Like, she's all pissed off. She blames him for the death of her mom and dad. Ooh, heavy. Bad
Steubing,
episode, ladies and gentlemen. Bad
yeah,
episode.
so Steubing is now gonna keep an eye on the kid because he's got nothing better to do. I don't know what the plan was if Dolores hadn't run into the captain who was banging her sister. I don't know what the plan was.
She'd have been like, "All right, good luck. Hopefully, I'll see you on the other side of Acapulco." That's
Also, I don't know the relationship between the sisters Strickland, right? But
right.
like, so I guess this wasn't a torrid affair, but the fact that the way that it ended, it makes me feel it was like it was a torrid affair. Is it weird that the sister knew him? Like, I don't know that every affair participant is known to the family. You're not bringing them home to dinner, right? Like,
We're not
it's
welcoming like, "We're having this torrid affair, but
yeah,
we'd love to meet for brunch." Like, in the
right,
midst of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
No. No.
Can you come to Mother's Day?
I think they're almost trying to, like, serve a few different masters here by doing this. They're trying to set up that storyline, the next storyline. So they're you know what I mean? They're creating these little because
I
it
just
doesn't
can't
make sense.
I can't tell if they think they're being clever and making it they never chose, right? It's like, is it a mystery? Is it a big reveal? Is it some muddled mess?
Why didn't
Like,
Meryl ask her? You wouldn't
I
even
mean,
ask the question? "Hey,
I think he
quick
knows, but this is
question."
why here's my point. Based on this letter at the end, right? And the conversation they had, I assume that, again, it was so confusing, but I assume he knows. Like, I don't think he needed to see all this stuff, you
You know
know? Like,
what? You would think, but let's not lose sight of who we're dealing with here. He is a dummy.
he's an admiral.
That's right.
Um, the Princess Cruise Line has learned nothing
Nothing.
since Theo Dennison rowed the boat, and they're about to stick this 9-year-old in a cabin by herself.
Here we go again.
Yep. Thank God. Vicky's like, nightmares, whatever. Could I stay with you, adult person? Like, so
Imagine that in Stubing's cabin still all messed up from, the amazing Alonzo's lady who spent the night. Apparently
no.
a lot happened.
Oh no. So like Steubing begrudgingly agrees, which again,
Who's
where we at here? Is it your daughter? Like, it should have almost there is one great scene in this episode.
was it the credits?
It's the Steubing dock scene. And they
Okay.
really should have had it much earlier
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because they needed to have him going through this way earlier. Because at this
Oh,
point, if it is your daughter, you should be like, "Stay with me." If it's not your daughter, you
right.
should be like, "Hey, Doc, stop chaperoning the Russian. I need you to where's Julie? I need you to stop trying to bang Richard Dawson and
For
watch
a
this kid."
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
anyway,
anyway.
moving on. Speaking of Vicky, she's showing Russian Swit the candles that she's got in the pool, which does not go over well.
That's great. You put candle in pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
In Russia,
Great.
candles are
Yeah.
fiery skulls of our
Yeah.
victim.
Hey, sign of
Um,
weakness.
Swit then starts kind of grilling Isaac about why he wants to be a bartender, and Isaac's like, "I like people, blah blah blah." And then she literally just starts doing like, in Russia, job chooses you. Like, we're already here
Where's
with this
Yakov?
stuff.
Where'd he go? Where is
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
It's funny, because she brought the vodka, it was yet another opportunity taken away from Isaac to make his first drink for us. Other than pour liquor, to make his first pour something.
Did she put
Nope.
any? She didn't put any in vodka though, right? It was literally just like,
It was just that was it, dumb. But I
I at
know when
least
they
mixed.
when
I at least
when they
mixed
ar-
this with a little fruit juice. Yeah, so
when they arrived though, they were drinking Planters Punch, which I'm very keen on, by the way.
it's very good, especially in
It's
this
very good.
like as a pool drink. Weird to have it work, but that didn't seem to be a problem because we're doing shots of vodka
Yeah,
too.
no kidding. Why did I didn't even
Cases.
that didn't even dawn on me. You got
Yeah.
just getting hammered. Is that
Yep.
cool? How come it wasn't right for Bob Crane to slam a glass of scotch?
cases cases of vodka have arrived because she's Russian.
Stereotypes. Is it, "Where's my caviar?" Like,
Yeah.
what's the other and potatoes?
And like, I don't know, it's a boat, man. I'm sure he's got vodka back there. He's got
Yeah,
eggs. I'm sure he's got
relax.
vodka.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's got that.
Julian Swit like have an actual like female forward toast to, Western women
Yeah,
breaking free of the chains of, patriarchy and all that stuff. So,
that it wasn't in the original script. Swit put that in there.
well, also it was the last time we talked about it. So, we
Yeah,
kind of got off that pretty quick.
yeah, no kidding. It went right back to Julie getting with Richard Dawson. So it like, what did you take from that? She must have the memory of a goldfish. Just, huh? And then she completely forgets her cheers. She's back to
I
Julie
think
shenanigans.
I think they're trying to establish that Julie's like kind of intimidated by her, which makes sense. I mean, she's, we've seen Julie intimidated by less.
Sure.
Um, but they don't really go anywhere with the whole sisterhood. I
Mm-mm.
guess they do a little bit, but they do
Yeah.
it in like the demeaning way where here's a sexy dress for you to
Yeah,
wear.
yeah. I don't want to look legitimate anymore.
Yeah. What means slinky? What means goof? It's a lot of that. It's a
It's
lot of that.
awful. The funny thing is this episode on IMDb was like a 7.0. So initially
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, good. I have certain expectations now." And I was like, "What? What?"
Yeah. I think the idea that this was the stooping daughter episode probably carries a lot of weight, but
Then
I don't think
spare
they're
us,
gonna find the other half of that locket when she comes back.
but spare us the newlywed storyline. Get rid of that one. Just do this. The
Yeah.
fact that it's 90 minutes and I would see how much time is left, and I'm like, "Oh my god! Like,
I
what are
do
we doing?"
I I have a thought, and we'll get to it at the end, I'm sure, but, like, that this, as a 60-minute episode, could have been the best episode of the season.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
But we did not
So
get
much so much fat on this
yeah.
episode. It's just god awful.
We're in Charlie and June's cabin. They're getting dressed, but man, they're gift of the magi in it. June's ready to go out. Charlie's ready
Yep.
to get down.
Yeah.
You know who wins that one. Sorry,
But this
Goulet.
is before she knew Dawson was on the
Yes.
boat, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
it's
there were no
already
like
kind of like, yeah,
ulterior.
it's
Okay.
cool. It's cool in the Goulet bedroom. We
Who's
do
leaving
find out.
Goulet? Who's leaving Goulet in the bedroom like a Robert Goulet? Like, come
Uh,
on.
we go. This is one of our many exposition dumps in this one. There was just no 90 minutes. You could come up with a better way to dump
Oh,
exposition, but at least this was kind of
just
graceful. But
terrible, man.
we find out Charlie used to write songs, and then June got knocked up, and you know, he decided to be the stand up guy,
He
and
chose
then
the sea.
he goes to get dressed. So, and we end Act One with Russian Swit showing up at Julie's door and announcing that she wants to be Slinky.
I mean, do you blame her for being all over Dr. Adam Bricker? So he was the catalyst for the change then.
It's always the ones you don't want.
Ugh, poor Bricker.
We start in Act Two. Isaac and Gopher with a unnecessary outdoor shot, wondering where the newlyweds are. No one is wondering where the newlyweds are except
The
Isaac and Gopher.
sound was so like I don't even think Gopher's lips were moving. I was watching the footage. I'm like, there's no what is going like why did
Let's
you
shoot this from way up and just like assume that there won't be wind on a boat.
and then the sound is just echoless. It's just a perfect from a carpeted room somewhere in
Yep.
Los Angeles. I'm just like, this
Yep.
is so unnecessary.
Smash cut to Sandy waking up in bed with Victor. Sandy assumes this is the one good scene in this storyline.
I agree. I agree.
Sandy assumes that they're in Victor's cabin or apartment. He's like, nope. He looks out the window and he's like, we're surrounded by water. So at one point they mention that they were going to see like a Japanese movie and they think they're on a freighter to Tokyo. Like
It was good.
this gave me like I was encouraged. I was like, oh, okay, soupy sales. All right, this isn't
Just
going to
give me a
be
silly storyline. Like I'm
ain't gonna be
fine with
pie
that.
in the face. I was like, this is pretty good. We find out ostensibly that they do work together. She is his secretary, and the long story was that they were dictating a letter to the head of the Unified Marine Products.
Oh, it's very
Yeah,
specific. Yeah.
sure.
I use a lot of their products.
Now look for the merch in
Look
our
for that.
store.
Next month, catalog's coming out.
Businessman number 2. But they got dragged into an office party. No, what is this? It's November 4th. What is this, like,
And what are you celebrating? The week
Veterans Day
after week after
party? Like
so it's the week
election
after
day?
Halloween, and neither one of you in a costume. You know what it
Reformation
is?
Day?
It's Kevin's Halloween party. That's what it is. It's Kevin's Labor Day party. That's what
That's a joke for, like, 4 people.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get sauced at this office party, and get so now listen, there is something to be said for people who don't drink getting so drunk that, but to get from your unless the office is across the street, that's pretty drunk. That's pretty functional drunk.
Where's the vomit scene? You're gonna tell me these people are that drunk who never really drink, and then you're gonna get on a ship?
Plus,
And
you
then
know
you're gonna
what? I have had too much to drink and passed out in a bed, and I don't wake up like this. Like, it's like, man, you
hours
are
later.
at best half dressed, at best half in the bed. There is the biggest glass of water spilled next to you you've ever seen. Like, so, yeah.
And also, I will note, none of Soupy's hair individual follicles are out of place again. I'm monitoring this closely.
I think the best argument for your comb over thing is
Yeah.
you wouldn't get into a career where you're getting hit with a pie every day if you were worried about your tooth falling off, right?
Man, that's a good point.
Unless that's what you want people to think.
Hiding in plain sight,
Yeah.
Mike. It's just like Breaking Bad.
All right. So this is kind of a captain's table. It's Richard Dawson, Vicky, and like 3/5 of the crew is at dinner.
This whole dinner was a little odd to me.
Yeah. So,
Like, number one, everyone's got flaming duck. I didn't even know flaming duck was a thing because
it's
it
the
looked like,
opposite of cold duck.
what is this? And then she gets liver and onions out of a
Yeah,
what?
out of like our gang or something. Like, it's like,
Stevens all. You should eat. I expect you to eat all your.
yeah,
I'd
give me
been
that
like,
flaming duck, Merle.
give me that flame. Yeah, why
Jesus.
can't she have flaming duck?
I'm about to go live in Acapulco. You think I'm gonna be living healthy?
Who's liver and onions on a cruise ship?
Living in a castle.
Bunch of garbage.
This is where Vicky kind of gets some zingers in about, she's, I don't know. There were zingers. I don't know. I thought she was fine.
She was good. She had a little sass, but I thought she was kind of sharp. You know what I mean? I thought she was
Yeah.
sharp. It was good.
And then she's like, she has a sweet tooth, and then
and then wait, then he loses his hat.
you should have darkened your sides.
He should have gone like blue, just like dark royal blue.
So I rewound this multiple times.
Yeah, I gotta keep the hat on. Where's flashback?
Thank you. It's Georgina. It's Georgina and dark hair Stewie.
Dark
The fugitive. The fugitive.
The new action figure, by the way, is dark haired Stewie.
Episode title, right? So now this is on the heels of the sweet tooth. So they're at like a stand, clearly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Georgina's like, "Oh, Meryl, they have something with an F." And I went back like 3 times, and I thought it was going to be fudge. Maybe it's like fudge, but in a language.
Flan? Was it flan? I mean, they are in a place.
Flan on a stick. This is why you died, Georgina. You're just eating
You're just
loose
eating stick.
cart flan. It's
You're chewing on a wooden stick. The flan can
what is this, Lucky's? Get out of here.
what is this wet stick? It had flan on it, I swear. So what did you
Um,
think it I'm trying to think of another word,
I mean,
uh,
honestly, I think it was like I think it was probably fudge, but like, different language. That was my
yep. Did it fit in the context of the
sure,
ooh.
sweet tooth, fudge.
Oh. Oh, what did she
That's
say? Remember she said that thing about that very distinct quote about having the sweet tooth that
yeah,
Vicky
that's what
said that the
triggered the flashback, right?
yeah,
So, that's why I thought it might be fudge.
might
Um,
be.
great job stubing. Um,
Fondue.
great job stubing. It's like, "Hey, I thought you were on a diet."
Hey,
It's
yeah.
like,
Aren't you
"Hey,
on again, off again, like, on starving
yay,
your he's
great
back to
job. Great
he's
job,
back to
Mel."
afternoon donut. There's no way.
Um, so obviously this is what triggers the memory. So back to the present. Julie, now we're just hitting it with a hammer. Julie's like, it's the damnedest thing, Vicky. You have the same eyes as Steubing, which is such a weird thing.
Why would you
I am the least aware. If you have blue eyes, maybe I know. Or if you have cat's eyes or
dude,
shark's eyes, like a doll's eyes.
right, like a dull
But like
lifeless eyes.
I have said this to my wife many times that the only reason I know what my wife's eye color is right now is because we've talked about it recently. I just don't know eye color. So Julie's spotting this from like miles away. Like a weird it's a weird thing to say without knowing that it's,
Right.
blood.
You don't
So,
why would you see yeah, it's just weird because now
yep,
we're spoon feeding now because we gotta set up
right. But that's why
alright.
it's weird, right? It's
Yeah.
like
It's not logical.
it just doesn't yeah, they didn't
Because
do anything
they have
with
to
that.
make like that's the flashback didn't tell you enough to let you know with
No.
100% certainty that Steubing thought that might be a possibility. They
And
had to dumb it down so much.
there needed to be a Ben Vereen coming back for Webster
Yeah, yeah.
style argument with Dolores.
I
Or
like
Steubing,
yeah.
you know what, Steubing? You're the captain. He drives the boat past Acapulco. That's what he should have done.
You know, it's funny you said Ben Vereen, and he was on an episode of Different Strokes, and he was, Arnold's uncle, and Uncle Phil's like, "Your uncle's a junkie." And Ben Vereen says, "I'm a diabetic, Phil. I take shots of insulin."
You should have saved that for next week. I think Mr. Drummond's on.
He is, like, it couldn't wait. It was too, it was we're in the moment.
Oh my god, where are we? Okay. Oh, great. Russia's Swit shows
Oh,
up in the
boy.
slinky dress. Gopher Niet strikes out quickly,
Mm-mm.
like just
"Oh, you're
done
one of
and
those
done.
creatures that burrows under the ground."
Yeah, she's like,
Backwards.
I eat in Russia, I eat with people. And just you're
Yeah.
out. Gopher
Yeah,
just
I don't
nothing this week.
yeah.
But Doc now sees that she has a body under that shirt, so we are on Bricker Watch now.
You'd think he would be smoother than to get, you know, ridiculously comically hammered
Yeah, it was
if he
interesting
actually
because
had intentions.
well, it feels like so he asks for champagne, which
Oh,
probably is like
yeah.
a Doc move, right?
Yeah, she's like, "Nah,
And she's
bro."
like, "Nope, we're doing vodka," but it's like, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Like, you
Yeah.
should not. This is like
I don't think you know
it's
who you're
like
dealing with.
it's like never get into it with a Sicilian when death is on the line. This is just like
Yeah, don't
do
mm-mm.
not try to outdrink a Russian in vodka.
Well,
You're not
especially
going to win.
if they bring their own vodka,
Their own, right? It's like,
it's
don't
not
shoot
like they're
pool against the guy who brings his own
right.
stick.
It's
Like,
not
yeah,
like it's like the opposite of somebody bringing their own tonic. You know what I mean?
yes.
This is a
Yes.
baller move.
Yes. Um, I have a problem with Mr. Bricker here.
Okay.
The waiter comes over. He tries to order champagne. She's like, "Give me my vodka or whatever."
Yeah.
He calls the guy waiter a couple times. That's a coworker, man. Take the time. Learn your coworker's name.
Doc's living in that caste system, man. He's not
I didn't
like
like
that's
that.
just
Or if you
yeah.
don't know his name, just don't say
You
don't
don't
say
have to say
waiter.
waiter. That's
You don't have to say
demeaning.
waiter. I didn't
That's
like
not cool.
that's come
I
on,
feel
guys.
like that's not what he would do either.
No. No,
Because
that's
he's
bad
charming.
job
He's one of those guys that like always smells good, I bet, and always remembers everybody's first name. I bet you like he's that guy.
yeah, bad job, Mike Norrell.
Yeah, not cool, man.
Charlie and June are doing the Lockhorns bit now. At the table. They're not at the captain's table because they're just nobodies.
Mm-mm.
And all of a sudden, June sees Bert over at the
Oh,
captain's table, and it is on, and it is genuine. It feels like it just feels like Robert Goulet and Richard Dawson ran into each other in life. Like
yeah,
this is like
yeah.
they like didn't even know they were shooting a show, right? It was just like those guys had chemistry that made me
They.
think they were like friends in real life.
I don't even know. Maybe they were both so hammered they didn't even know that either one was on the show or that they were on a show.
Right.
Because, well, I mean, Richard Dawson's planting double kisses on her on the lips, and I'm just
Oh
like,
yeah.
good lord.
Oh, listen, you always say aggressive, but
Yeah.
like ultimately, Richard Dawson is professing his love
Hmm.
for a married woman constantly, including after the song at the end.
Oh,
Like he
yeah.
never stops and he never will stop.
No, he
So,
never will. Maybe that's the real reason for the move to Philadelphia.
yeah.
They can't stay there now. Oh, you should come for a
Yeah.
visit. They're in
Yeah. Well, he didn't
Orlando now.
they're in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Yeah, they're so
So
gone.
they'll
South
never
Pittsburgh,
back.
Tennessee. Goodbye.
Turns out that Bert and Charlie were songwriting partners and went to Syracuse University. So they were Orangemen. And, that's a good place to write songs because you can't go outside for like 6 months of the year.
He's sitting at that dome they have up there, just
Yeah.
sitting there and
The
write
year I
song.
the year I was looking at colleges was the big blizzard year.
I
And
remember
we
that.
got like 30 something inches in Philly. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much snow. And then they got 120 inches in Syracuse. And I was like, you know what?
Eh,
I don't think I'm going to Syracuse. So,
that's why Bob Costas is so bitter. It's all that snow from back then.
uh, Sandy and Victor have read the script, and so now they found out why they are in the cabin as
Mhm.
newlyweds. Victor's trying to be the good guy and get off the boat, but Sandy's like, or I could profess my love for you, and that doesn't go over very well.
Well, who's to say that those newlyweds that were supposed to be on the cruise weren't going to meet the cruise on the first port?
I
It's
mean,
awfully presumptuous.
I assume that's on Gopher's sheet.
He didn't check any IDs.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
true.
do they ever figure out that they're not?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
scene.
because of
Yeah,
but not like organically. Nobody would have ever known.
no, no, and the thing is, because it was Gopher's mistake, he basically covers it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. She quits basically because he starts to try to dictate the letter again.
Again, here we go. With no
She
alcohol
quits.
this time.
She quits, and we go to commercial. I gotta say, the last the last scenes hit before act breaks are really bad. They're just like, come
They're
on, this
racing towards that finish line. Just,
they are not making me go back after a commercial. If I have to get up and change the channel, like that's not happening.
mm-mm.
Act 3, Bert and Charlie are sitting at the piano. You know what that means.
Here comes the
Time for
song.
the future Stubby nominated rhyming song.
I don't remember the words to that one. How does that one go? Sure, you remember
Well,
the
if
words
you
to that one.
at
It
one
was a
point, Dawson's
serious
like
number,
looking at the
man.
camera. He's just like,
Goulet forgets.
I enjoyed it. I
Yeah,
did enjoy
it
it.
was good.
It's
What
just
was
like I said.
better, this one or the Mike and Ike? What was a better performance? If you had to pick
That
only
Mike and
one,
Ike song was really good.
it was catchy.
It really was. It's
This is
different.
kind of
It's too
old
different.
school.
It's too different to.
It's
I
like
will
the
say this is
50s.
better. This is better than the second song.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I
That
agree.
second song. Oh, really? You
Uh,
stayed up all night to write one lyric? Great job, Goulet.
I'd say the song where the guy was singing in his daughter's ear that he's about to die, that was a better song than the song that Goulet
Sometimes I
wrote
feel
for his
like we're
wife.
gonna regret not giving that to Stubby.
We really
I
if I
know
had a
I
time
know we
machine,
gave it to the right person, but I feel like we're gonna forget.
I wish we had a time machine because that's the only thing I would use it for. And I would do that, change it, come back here and just to right here and destroy that
No,
right on the
exactly.
podcast.
It's Stubby nominated, but it's not a Stubby winner, and that just doesn't seem correct.
Mm-mm.
Um, so the crowd loves it. Crowd's very excited. Um,
They just
everybody
want to be entertained apparently on that ship.
who doesn't
Yeah,
like a piano, singing around a piano?
sure.
That was great fun. Great fun. Doc is still trying to outdrink Swit.
We're just going. Did they eat any food? I don't think they ate any food either.
No, they actually at one point mentioned Swit's like, you're on an empty stomach, and he's like, oh, so it's just yeah, he's so it's going accordingly. Doc is smashed, and I was
Swimmingly.
glad Doc didn't try anything.
He
Whilst
couldn't.
smashed,
He
so
couldn't. He was just
yeah, but it's Adam Bricker. You never know.
oh yeah,
With
he
Doc,
could make
here's
a
the thing.
lunge.
With Doc, I think these things. I generally don't think he's going to do them, but I know he could, and so I always like to just
That's
let it
true.
roll.
I'm happy that he didn't.
Yes. Uh, this is so when you were talking about that there wasn't a lot of highlighted on the Julie pursuing Bert
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
This is the one that really stuck for me. So
Okay.
Julie is at the table with Dawson, Goulet, and June. The four of them are
Okay.
there.
Hmm.
And they're talking, and it gets awkward at one point, probably because June's hitting Goulet for quitting and all this stuff,
Gotta
whatever.
be weird.
And then Julie tries to, Julie, get along to get along and all that kind of stuff. And it's like,
Hmm.
she's like, hey, who wants to go dancing at the Acapulco Lounge? And June's like, that's a great idea. And she grabs Bert and splits and
Yeah,
leaves
that
Julie
was
with Goulet. Like, what is that?
Julie was trying to like
Yeah,
create space for them
right.
or not,
Or,
and she was just
or
trying to get with him to go there.
exactly. At
But
the
yeah,
very
that
least, Julie's like, the
June
four of
jumped
us
on
should
it.
be dancing. And in the Acapulco Lounge, as we saw, Julie's got sway. She can have any terrible song played whenever she wants.
Yeah, she can just say, "Play it again, Sam," and they'll play whatever songs it's in her mind, in her head. Well, the other weird thing too is it's almost like there was like an unspoken argument or issue between Goulet and his lady about like going dancing or something. You know what I mean? Because like for someone to jump on it, like, "Oh, you never
Oh,
take me," you know what I mean? Like,
I think she was looking for any opening to get to
oh,
Bert.
like a
Anything.
skeet shooting, I love it. Like
Yeah.
she would have been out of there.
Oh, Bert. Like, so
Just well, they share an accent.
that's
They're
a good
destined.
point. That's a good point.
Like, nobody else could
Vicky,
understand them, you know, they
right? Yeah. What did you say?
What?
Vicky is praying loud enough
Oh god,
to make.
this was
Vicky,
sorry.
I was proud of this note. Sorry. Vicky is praying loud enough to wake the dead, except for one person. So, this is where we get
You're almost loud enough.
this is where we get the extreme close up again.
That's
Um,
terrible.
with Steubing, and yeah,
Oh,
you're right.
uh-oh,
This is if he's not going for I don't think he's going for a Steubing because I think
flashback.
he's not going for a Steubing because he knows that's not how you get a Stubby. I do think he's going for an Emmy. Like
Let me
so,
just tell you, I love your European pronunciation of the Stoobies. Let me just say
sorry.
that, like, we should have one Stoobie of the year, which is the best European cast member of the year or guest.
You know how I spent my day today. It's amazing I can pronounce anything in an adult voice. So
I
it's
I oh, I totally think the Stoobing thing is going for
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
mean, well,
almost like
plus
they're trying to.
bad, dude.
It's almost like, and again, it feels like we'll have a different Stubing next week or whatever. But it's like it's almost
Absolutely.
like, hey, let's reset him, give him a little gravitas, right? Like this feels like a concerted effort. I will be curious to see how it gets followed up on. I
That's what I'm
assume it
saying
won't
is
at all. So
next week, since they're clearly not in any sort of chronological order the way they were filmed, they're going to throw some
Julie's got a
squirrely one.
mohawk, and
Well,
so
we'll see. I did peek ahead, so we'll maybe
well,
it'll
I'll
give us
say
an
this.
idea.
It's like if you told me the next couple of weeks we're gonna get like Stubing chasing John Ritter again, like that would be the direct. This is as much we didn't like it as much, but this is
Mm,
as much as episode 1 Stubing.
I do agree. I
And
kind of
we
had
saw
that
how they
same
did
thought.
with episode 2.
But you're almost like trying, like I see what you're saying. They're almost like reestablishing
Right. Which
like his ethics or
that's the
whatever.
thing about this show is you can do that whenever you choose. The problem is
Yeah.
you gotta follow up on it.
Well, they have
Yeah.
those continuity people now, so we'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I didn't feel like they were very helpful explaining the paternity of
Uh,
Vicky Stubing.
I hope he has
Um,
flashbacks like every episode for the rest of the season in some way or another. I hope they keep going back to a flashback. So, just my
or
hope.
never again.
Never again. We only look forward on this show.
I
Yeah.
also want a flashback of when he's like in high school, but he's still balding. Like it's not even like
And
what is he,
he's
Matt Williams? Like
he's
it's
got
just it's
he's got his white shorts pulled up to his nipples, like the white socks. Like, oh,
all right.
good
Act
lord.
4.
Oh,
The good thing is because there's such nothing going
there's
on in these
nothing
acts,
going on.
it does
Yeah.
move pretty fast, but
Yeah.
it's yeah. Um, Doc is trying to walk Swit back to his cabin, I guess, or her cabin. I don't know where he's trying to
I don't
walk,
know
but he
where
ends
he's
up
trying to bed her. Yeah.
much like that housekeeper a couple weeks ago when the
She's in
kissing
there.
bandit showed up. He
Hope he
goes
didn't
head
land
over
on her.
heels right into laundry.
Hope he didn't land on her.
It's her and Charo. Charo's
Oh,
still in there. Um, Meanwhile, Sandy is drowning her sorrows and fills Gopher in that she, in fact, is not the Wilsons, the newlyweds, which Burl's like, ooh, that might get me fired yet again.
yeah.
So,
Who's watching the safe, Mike? Who's watching the safe? Nobody.
well, here's the thing: nobody knows it yet, but like Stubing is more distracted than ever, so you can do whatever you want this week.
Good thing he doesn't actually do anything. Because
That's the thing.
this could have been dangerous.
This would have been great if, like, just right now, Act 4, middle of the show, the boat just veers into something because he's busy.
Just capsizes, sinks. Everybody's dead except for Vicky, which is weird. She just lives with that memory.
It's
Awful.
like
Poor Vicky.
Firestarter.
They changed the name of the show to Poor Vicky.
Um, there was this was another set that probably isn't necessarily a new set, but it's a new camera angle.
Yeah, I noticed that.
We're at Isaac's bar, but it's like a little more shot
Mhm.
over the shoulder, and it's just again, you have the sets. I
I
think
like
these
it.
are full. These almost feel like full room sets, right? There's
Mhm.
at least 3 dimensions to them,
Yeah.
so use them. Um, Goulet is
Goulet.
popping bubbly. He is excited, which is weird because the last we saw your wife, she was running off with your
Yeah.
buddy.
Like, what?
Is he popping that for Julie?
Trying to numb the pain is what he's doing.
Well, once again, these two are going like this, like
Yeah,
those
but
widowers.
most Philadelphians, right? You walk up to a bar and they're like, "What can I get you?" Most gentlemen of that age are going to be like, "Champagne." It did seem a little odd to me that he was drinking champagne.
I mean, I don't think they're from Philadelphia. I mean, she's clearly not.
Right. Either way, it just seemed like an odd thing for like a gentleman. Have you ever gone to a bar in the daytime, not at a wedding, and ordered champagne?
Well, but they're not at a bar and it's not daytime. They're in a hotel room and it's night. This is room serviced, I assume.
Oh, I see. I see. I'm sorry. I'm
right?
sorry. I was confusing two things.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
You
right. He's pouring it in the room. I'm sorry. You're absolutely
and I
right.
mean, technically, the answer to your other question is yes, because a lot of those morning drinks have champagne in them.
That's true.
So,
That's
no, I
true.
have not been like, "Please, you should bleed." Like,
You know what? I had it confused. You're right. He's overly happy, which is odd.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But June is running a bath and apparently running it so high that she's out of the room for like 10 seconds and it starts to spill all over the place.
Why would there be a bath? That doesn't make any sense.
I think she's harvesting kidneys in there.
It's you got to have a shower at best. There's no way that you have a bathtub. It's just too much room.
Well, so we saw Michelle Lee in the bathtub, right? But is that the only time we've seen that bathtub?
Oh,
It was tight. It was tight, but there
I
was a
don't think we've
bathtub,
seen another. Well, no, because didn't Doc or wasn't he going to sleep in the bathtub?
but they didn't show it.
Interesting.
Like we know
These,
bathtubs exist. We just
yeah,
haven't seen them.
these are the things that keep me up at night. Just the devil is in the details.
um long story short, Goulet gets ice from June and she goes to turn the bath off because it's running water everywhere. And he's like, "Nope, see ya." And he is gone, which
He
is just
leaves
like,
with the bottle too.
yeah, which is probably how he paid for the songwriting. But like, that is, as someone who in their younger days would maybe get into an argument or two with a date or something like that. The leave thing is great, but man, that's hard to come back from. You can only pull that move so many times. And leaving
Well,
and not coming back till the morning, that's like,
yeah. I remember leaving a dinner once with someone who I was in a relationship with. Just having an argument and being like, "Okay, I'm out of here." And I remember somewhere between that moment and then getting to my destination, I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I am."
You just can't come back from that one.
You
It's just,
can't.
yeah, yeah. No
I
matter
think
what
I
you
would,
say in an argument, you could probably talk your way out of it. But yeah, it's
or
like,
maybe you should talk your way into thinking like, "Okay, this whole thing is just not going to work." If that's
yeah, that's probably
that's a
true.
bad, yeah.
Yeah, that story doesn't end with a like a matrimony generally. Like,
No, no, that is not the story of Mr. and Mrs. Taylor. No, no,
when
no, no.
I was in college and I was dating somebody and I got in an argument and I tried to do the leave move, it was their place and I couldn't get the door unlocked. So you ready to do this big dramatic thing? You know me, right? So I'm trying to hit the post. I'm like,
Yeah,
and another thing, blah blah blah, and I go open the door and I couldn't get it,
click,
and I
click,
tried
click.
like twice, and I started laughing, and it actually solved the argument, but it was like that was
That's funny.
that was the one time that worked out. Probably saved me for one, but that is not the origin story of Mr. and Mrs. Robertson. So,
Yeah,
so
no, nothing good comes of a potential leaving.
hey, if you are either of the women in that story, write in.
Oof.
um. So, Sandy brings Gopher outside of Victor's cabin to try and make him jealous. They're doing fake smooching. He uh he overhears it, but then she comes in. He hops in bed. I just
Mm.
why? So, did they do the curtain bit, or does this honeymoon suite have a weirdly separated curtain room?
I don't know why you'd have it's in like a pull-out couch. What? How is that a honey? There's nothing about that room. That's that same room. The marketing, the advertising, the fake
Oh, the
people that
boom
were in
room,
that
not the
room with
boom
the
room,
cardboard bed.
the suite.
That
Yeah,
room was terrible. It's an awful room.
but it's not. It's not the honeymoon suite that we've seen for the two married
Mm-mm.
couples,
Mm-mm.
because the beds are on the other sides of those.
They don't think we're paying attention. That's what it is. They're like, who in their right mind is going to pay attention to such details? We are. So,
It is the next morning, Doc is dead. So Doc is just dead in bed.
well, speaking of bed, did you see how small his bed was? He had like a twin bed. Where's all
So,
his lovemaking
well,
taking
didn't we
place in a
establish a
twin
couple
bed?
weeks ago Doc's got, like, 10 rooms.
Oh,
So
yeah. Like,
this
in his
was
office, he's got
yeah.
the one. But I was surprised. I was like, Doc sleeps in a twin bed? Like, wouldn't you think? And his room is like Gopher's room.
Oh,
Like, why
actually,
doesn't he have a bigger room?
we were in Doc's room last year
Yeah.
for when Kurt punched him, so
Yeah.
actually, that's not the same room.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
They think we're not paying attention.
They don't even
So,
come on, guys.
Gopher comes in to get him for breakfast, I guess, or whatever, and finds a note that Russian Swit leaves on the side. This was pretty funny because Gopher's just like, he's clearly like, there's no worse. To me, this is a crime. You should not mock someone's hangover. That is unfair. But he definitely kind of breaks his balls when she gave him an A, but that's her initial. So
And I'm sure her mastery of the English language is such because she's in such a role that she doesn't need a translator, that she could like flesh out an entire letter in English that makes any sort of like grammatical sense. No offense. It's just, come on. It's just,
yeah, basically the upshot here is that it implies that she had her way with him,
yeah.
which it offends Doc as a man, but it offends me as a viewer.
Yeah.
so,
He's going to jump off the side of the ship if it's true.
so Steubing and Vicky are playing Go Fish because
No.
this boat can drive itself. So there's nothing for him to be doing. And
How do
there
you
is
avoid
no one,
icebergs? How do you avoid
there's
icebergs?
no
I
one on
play
the
Go
Lido
Fish.
deck. There's
Nothing.
nobody on
How?
the Lido deck.
Nothing. Like,
There's
what?
like 4 people. It's like this
It never
Princess line is going
rains.
bankrupt. Like,
It never rains on any of these cruises. It's either a hurricane once or it's like 364 days of picture perfect weather.
hey, you're right. There's not a cloud except for
Not a cloud.
that one afternoon. So
All or nothing once.
Vicky is starting to enjoy the cruise life, but she also is going to end up in a castle in Acapulco. So real life problems for Vicky Stubbs. Um, Swit. Oh God, there's so much. There's so
There's
much
so much
Russian
garbage here.
here. Swit has gone shopping in the cruise gift shop when Doc shows up hungover to give a piece of his mind to Loretta Swit about that whole "I had my way with you" thing. Great.
It's great. It's good.
Goulet
Goulet.
Goulet shows up in the morning. Like I said, that's ballsy. Turns out Charlie was gone all night, but he was somewhere writing a song.
Yeah, not as bad. They don't switcheroo.
Yep. You can tell here Charlie is like he's kind of doing when you're throwing the surprise party, so you can be kind of a lying jerk because you have the out at the end. That's kind of what he's doing. He's
I
being real
completely
charming.
agree.
Yeah. So this is actually where we find out the whole backstory that June got pregnant, and that's why Charlie ended up stopping writing singing, and that she knows you resent him, and you never tell me you love me, and blah 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 blah.
She sprints to him every chance she gets. Like, it's
Mm,
crazy. Good
yeah,
Lord, man. What a
yeah,
weird.
uncomfortable.
Ugh.
It's a weird love triangle because
Well, they all knew
it's
each other too.
yeah, you got to resolve that stuff, and you have to not talk about it. Like you have to be okay with it, or you can't be friends anymore.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't be both. Like you can't. That's cheating. So
When he never, and Goulet, it was never like, hey, why don't you like take it down a notch with him? Like, it's a little much, don't you think?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And he,
mean,
like I said, Dawson, he's coming back. Like it's a shame he's never gonna be on the show again
it
because
stinks.
yeah, it's disappointing. He only plays himself or is in the Running Man. That's it. That's
Interesting. He
sad.
was on that Family Feud for a long
Yeah.
time.
And so maybe that's what was filling his
11
day.
years, or I
Yeah.
bet you it was a decent pay. he started off poor. He started off as a boxer.
Yeah.
He started dating an actress, and that's sort of what got him into. He's like a simple dude. He's just a normal guy with Austin Powers energy.
Here's another bit of the Julie stuff is June shows up to Julie's table and is like, "Hey, have you seen Bert?" She's like, "I had breakfast with him." And June gets her daggers out. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, you've been all spending a lot of time together." And then
Oh.
Julie's just like, "Yeah, but that's all it is time. He's definitely holding the candle for somebody." And then June, man, I thought June was gonna go into a flashback because she just starts doing the faraway look,
Yeah, they
and
loved.
she is gone. She
That's
is
all she
like,
needed.
"I'm gone.
Yep,
Sorry,
I'm gonna
suckers."
find him.
She somehow finds Dawson tooling around on a piano, and the only bit we get is that, you're not supposed to be here, and that's it.
So they were up all night writing the song, and then Dawson's still awake.
He didn't sleep.
He didn't sleep. It's the
But yeah,
70s. I don't know.
this scene, we did not need this scene.
No,
So,
we're gonna get to 90 minutes or
yep.
else.
Yep, that's right. You're gonna have Richard Dawson sitting at a piano, just saying the same 5 words over and
Which
over again.
at a piano, by the way, that he clearly cannot play. He is the worst fake piano player I've seen in 2 seasons of Love Boat. Just terrible.
He played it like Kermit played it in the Muppet movie,
Yeah.
like at the frog leg joint, like
It
it was
it's what, DL Hoppers?
yeah,
Woo.
thank you.
Heck yeah. I love that. I love that movie.
Um, okay, so Steubing comes in to see Doc, and this is actually I feel like this is a very good scene, and I have said this for a while. I feel like one of the things that the show I thought was gonna have and maybe
Mhm.
had a little bit early on and didn't go back to was this Doc and Steubing kinda, Spock and Kirk or what
Yeah, yeah,
Spock
yeah.
and Bones or Bones
Bones,
and
yeah.
Kirk, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. But like a bit of a familiarity and this was the closest we've come to that. Steubing comes in, um, says he has a bad elbow, but then immediately starts wanting to talk about, "Adam, have you ever thought about living on land?"
I was just like, they're a couple of mermen. You know what I mean? Like, they have fishtails.
Under the
Oh, I
sea.
have you thought about living on land? They deliver mail from a truck. Come on.
You ever had milk in a cold sack? Um,
Oh, it
and
just
listen, this is the scene that probably needed to happen a little earlier. It didn't once again, didn't necessarily solve anything. They probably could have had him confide to make it easier. I don't know why they chose to go with this vague route,
it
but
was yeah,
I liked that they had the conversation.
I agree. I agree.
It also made the whole thing feel very disjointed because the fact that this doc is also the doc that's
Coming off a
mid
hangover that
hangover, right?
thinks he
Yeah,
was accosted.
yeah. I did like that he called him Merrill too.
Yeah, I like that.
That felt like
They
there's
do that
a
in Star Trek, like, "Oh, Jim." The same
West
kind of
Wing,
thing.
West Wing too, which I know you didn't watch.
Yeah.
The chief of staff always calls the president Mr. President or something like that, even though they're like boys.
Yeah,
But when he's mad, he calls him Jed or whatever. So,
just to get I like it.
well, it's just to kind of like sometimes
It's
you
emphasis.
can't fall on ceremony. You're just so you know
Well,
real.
if I'm saying something to you in real life and I say, "Mike," then you know it's something good coming. You know what I mean? Same. As opposed to my,
Mister,
more
not Mister
formal greeting.
Co-host. Anyway, nothing gets solved by this, but I thought it was
Nothing.
interesting.
Just a couple of mermen living in the sea, breathing water.
Uh, Doc literally Steubing walks out, Swit walks in,
Right in.
um, and kind of confronts Doc about that whole, "Hey, I didn't just accost you," and he's like, "Oh, what a misunderstanding." Um, and then somehow this is like, but we could accost each other now,
Mhm.
basically. So
Yeah, and then
Doc had a real busy morning. There's a lot there.
he's
None of it
busy this
medical.
episode.
None of it medical.
No. Wait, can I it's alarming how few medical issues come up on the ship in the course of
Yeah.
2+ seasons
We
or
had one the
1+
other
season.
day when the unless the kissing bandit faked that one, but we had that one where Doc had to go back to the blackjack table because somebody passed out. But you are right.
Oh, yeah. Just
600 people every week. The odds are
it's the
infinite.
healthiest crew or healthiest,
And
I don't know.
they're changing chefs every week. Like it's not like there's consistency.
Nobody's getting food poisoning,
Tell you one thing, if
motion sick.
they got boar's head on that ship, they're in trouble.
Oh, boy.
Doc will be up to his eyeballs.
Hashtag not a sponsor. Go ahead.
Not yet. They might
Not,
need us though.
not yet. Hey, we'll take you, Boar's Head. We'll take you. I'll eat Boar's Head live on the. Like, I'm fine. I'll do whatever.
Would you eat boar's head in the what's the river in Paris that they're all getting sick in?
I was saying,
The same-
would you take a kickboard covered in Boar's Head pastrami and just kind of float in the Seine while you eat it? Yeah, I would. I would.
Right in boar's head or Olympic organizers. All right, back to this intricate plot. Steubing calls Dolores to see if she can pick Vicky up a little later when they get to Acapulco because there's a party that she really seems interested in, which doesn't seem true. But
Just doesn't seem true at all.
so I guess good that Steubing and Dolores at least exchanged phone numbers before she ditched this child on the boat.
Yeah, how do you even
with her dead sister's lover's baby?
whatever.
I have more questions than I did before this episode started.
Me too. Way more.
Vicky is all packed up, but she doesn't want to go. Steubing tells her that maybe she can come back occasionally to visit, like maybe season 3, episode 9.
Maybe just
just throwing it out there.
Rando, whatever.
Right. It does make sense though. You know, they live in Acapulco. This ship goes to Acapulco all the time.
Every
There's a
week.
lounge.
Yeah.
Titular lounge.
They're there every Saturday night between 9 and 10 o'clock. It's really predictable.
Like one Thursday.
Yeah, just come
on. Steubing does try to give Julie's job away. Maybe you could be a cruise director at some point.
Julie's like, hey,
you are
what?
right. You aren't wrong. So, I love you, Captain Merrill. Oh. I wonder if this was like, you know what, Steubing? We need to make Steubing more lovable. He's too gruff.
This
is what shows did back then.
Oh, add a little.
Yeah.
Heart of gold.
But again, it's weird not to follow up on it for an entire year. So,
you know what? I could see it if they had him as this like stern captain, right? Heart of gold, but like grumbly, kind of like what you're saying. But they have not portrayed him as that at
not very often.
All. He's thrown himself at John Ritter, like all these stupid things, and he's
just whiny and cranky.
Just awful. Gets knocked out, does a 360 after getting punched, like, which is a great like Batman villain. That's how Batman villains used to get punched. The big pow. Like, come
That's
on,
the
man.
thing. Like, I think for a while I was arguing I wanted like gravitas Steubing, but now I think I want like, what did I say a couple weeks ago? Was it last week? I like where he's exasperated and wrong a lot and not really important.
Lassard, like we said, we've said
not as
quite as
dumb, right?
Yeah.
So
we're not looking for bumbling.
No,
we're just looking for an authoritative figure with those sort of.
I just wonder when they do bring her back, like, are we getting like actual parenting storylines, or are we just getting like the occasional like do your homework, like that kind of stuff.
Well, I also wonder if between now and then, if it's going to be like Rumspringa-Merrill. He's going to get it all out of his system. Woo, wild
Season
episodes to
3,
come.
episode 8 is After Dark.
He's
So,
wearing English people's clothes next
yeah,
episode.
we might have to skip that one. That might be
Yeah,
too
that's
edgy.
yeah, it's bad.
Um, Victor's leaving the boat. Lucky him. Uh, despite Gopher's predictions, but Sandy
Bye.
decides that the jig is up, and she confesses her love. And then she basically jumps him, and it's Tongue City
Yeah, no
as we
kidding.
head into a break. Like, we had way too many acts end with this storyline, which makes me think maybe it wasn't part of the original show.
No,
It
there's no
didn't. It didn't.
carryover.
Yeah.
It's not like the Steubing thing who went to Doc to talk about the
Right. No.
Vicky, and then you have there's no, yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
oof.
Act 6.
Oh,
Too many.
damn it.
Too many acts.
Too many acts.
We are at the bar again with Doc and Swit, and they're just gaga for each other. Whatever that tryst was, that's good for what ails you, I guess.
Yeah.
Doc says, Doc kind of confesses that he, has had 4 ex-wives, and that doesn't seem to phase her though.
She probably doesn't understand what ex-wives mean.
Yeah, it's all widows over
That's
in
what
Russia.
it is. Yeah, they're all expired. And she was
It's
like,
all
oh, what
missing.
she
Yeah,
doesn't,
parts
she's not
unknown.
grasping.
Doc is legit smitten though. This is the most smitten we've seen Doc,
Oh,
right?
it seemed yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
seemed sincere
Yeah.
because he didn't put on the Doc voice. This
Right.
was like the Adam voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a different
Yeah.
tone.
Don't know if I like it, but
Oh, it's crazy. It's not good. I like
yeah.
normal Doc.
The big party that Steubing had mentioned to Vicky's aunt is packed, actually. They really did do a good job of like padding it out with extras,
Yeah,
which is
it
probably
looked like
why
a
there were no
party.
extras behind the Go Fish game, but they were
Nothing.
all getting ready for this party. They even have like a string quartet walking
Yeah,
around.
it was something. They were like, we're
Yeah.
gonna leave no doubt that this is actually a party
Yeah. No,
with
that was
10 people.
yes. But good job by them.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't take much. Appreciate the effort. Um, as they're walking around, this is where Charlie is really like, yep, I suck. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I'm the worst. Don't you
Yep.
forget how bad I
I'm
am.
terrible.
Yep, yep. And she's just like, oh, Charlie, I can't even imagine anything you could do to like she's walking right into it.
She's blatantly lying too.
Yeah.
She's looking for anything to just
Yeah.
run back to.
Yep. She's gonna feel dumb in like 7 minutes.
But I wonder if Richard Dawson still has a thing for her, or
Yes.
if it's a thing because he didn't win, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like if they
Yeah.
were to bed, he would probably, it's not like that would get a relationship. He would probably just be like, aha, and then her life would be
Yeah,
wrecked.
I think you're right. It's the thing you can't have. He's the most successful guy in music apparently, and he can't, and also, it's your college love,
Right.
sure. No, it
Oof.
was I thought it was interesting.
I did. I did
And
as well.
I thought they played it pretty subtly, which
I
on this
agree.
show is always,
That's a challenge.
um Julie introduces Bert, then that he's going to play a new song. And that new song turns out to be one that Charlie wrote. Bert, again, is really holding a candle for June. And for a minute there, they kind of make it seem like he wrote this song for her and he's going to really lay it out there. But then he quick reveals that actually I didn't write it. Charlie wrote it. And June is just like, oh, fiddlesticks.
Or maybe he didn't. Maybe Dawson found him passed out on like the deck. And he was like, I gotta fix this, mate. And he went in and he was just like, here, I'll fix this,
Bosom's mate. So,
Bush mate. I don't,
it's not a good song.
no, it's a terrible song.
I
But
love you,
the
you
song was
know.
the first song was much better.
Yes, I love you, you know. I love you. I can only sing 8 seconds of it in case they try to
Well, we
copyright
don't
me.
want to.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe Goulet made the right choice going to advertising in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
So
yeah. If that's
it's
the
not that great.
if this is a highlight
Yeah,
of
yeah,
his,
this is
you
yeah.
know,
I mean, I know it
you're
was overnight, but still,
yeah, you're no
it's
Bernie Taupin, sir.
no, you're not. I Dawson was great though. Like it was
He's good. You give him anything, he's
because he's
great.
smoldering underneath the surface the whole time. He never stops
Mhm.
like looking at June. Like he's
No,
definitely singing that thing to her.
he's like
You know?
making out with other girls and then making eye contact with
Right.
June. Like it's
Right.
odd.
Right. He almost sang it as intensely to June as Roxy Blue did it to Isaac. Almost. We will not see I Love You, you know, probably in the stubbies, but
I
we
don't.
could see Dawson as a double. I mean, 2 songs. We
Yeah,
haven't had a lot of 2 songers.
it's a strong Dawson. He's an enigma.
Oh, we are still on this Russia thing. Swit's trying to charm Doc on the deck, and we got the Russian, theme going. So the vodka is flowing.
Oh,
It's like
vodka.
Dr.
Yeah,
Zhivago out there. Um, this is to your point. We have a lot of smash cuts now.
it's
Stubing's
just back and
dancing.
forth. Yeah.
Yeah, Stubing's at the party dancing with Vicky. Here comes
Uh-oh.
Aunt Dolores
Okay.
and little Jimmy.
Little
And
Jimmy.
Vicky's like, later, loser. I'm out of
Dude,
here. Like, he's
she turned
gone.
around and left so fast. I was like, holy crap, man. He's getting all misty, and she's like, tell your story walking, old man. I'm out of here.
See ya, Sterling.
Yeah.
So
What's your name? Captain Simpson?
he is just crushed. Yeah, and you're right. She doesn't even give him a goodbye.
No.
Dolores thanks Steubing for, babysitting and then says you should stop by, which of course, as we said, yeah, you should stop by.
Yeah,
Like,
you probably should. You
probably go,
probably should.
visit the gravesite. He could have gone to the funeral or seen her. Or do we not think that she must have lived in California? Well, we
Or
don't know. We don't have any answers.
maybe Steubing did something. Like they say people like go to Alaska, and Alaska is the place where people want to get lost, like people running from something.
Yeah.
Maybe Steubing just would like join. No one can get in touch with him. Nobody knows where he is.
Well,
That's what it
this
is.
this whole thing sends us to the flashback that I think they thought was going to be helpful,
Here we go.
but Georgina saw the premiere episode of The Love Boat and says, Meryl loves the sea
He
and it'll
loves the
never work
sea.
out. And
Nope.
then this is the real confusing part with the other guy, the guy who
Mm,
Vicky knows as the dad.
yeah.
Like, so, like, was she married? Was she dating 2 guys at once?
Was she
Is this
cheating on her
guy
husband with Meryl? If it's some torrid thing.
right? Or is this guy like the safe choice? Is Meryl the bad boy in this situation?
But
Like,
here's the thing: is if that guy's dead and the mom is dead, then no one's ever gonna know
but if
like what
that
really
guy
happened.
died when she was 3, why didn't she get in contact? Like, Steubing cuts her off, it sounds like, right, at that conversation, but
Yeah,
yet in the letter here in a few minutes, he sends a gift to the baby. Like,
they don't know
it
what they're doing,
it
man.
doesn't add up.
Where's the continuity?
They think we don't pay attention to these things.
Come on, be better.
Um, thank God Vicky comes back, says goodbye, because that
Thank.
would have been tough. That would have been a tough one.
Yeah, that was rough. That was rude. The aunt's not like, oh, say goodbye to.
Yeah, have a
She's
good
just like,
night.
no, run,
Yeah,
run with Jimmy.
don't ever come back. I'll see you in 28 episodes.
Bye.
Act 7.
Ah, crap.
Well, I think this is the last one.
Oh,
Soup
excellent.
Soupy and Joanne Worley have drank their way through the boat, and now they're getting off the boat. And I guess they got engaged.
Which, oh yeah,
He
that
said he
makes.
offered her a new position, but I didn't know if that was a sex thing. Like, so, like, I
It
don't
would have been
care.
great. He was like, "Look, you're fired. I've
Yeah.
been trying to get this letter written for how many days now?"
The
Like,
Marine, the Marine Corps is not going to
yeah,
know.
like what? Come on.
Bert, Bert gives Julie a peck on the cheek. Speak with you next week. Glad we met, which is just like such a
You know what that's about?
that is a form letter for
Yeah,
so
yeah. Here's a yeah. Here's a
out of office
waiver.
reply.
Yeah.
Um,
He
and
gives
then
her his
Eric
manager's phone number, like something like that. Just
gives him Ray Combs his number. It's like
oh, poor Ray Combs.
he hasn't answered this phone in years. Bert,
That's terrible. That's terrible. That's a great Ray Combs joke though.
terrible. Um, the Godwins come over. Bert promises that he will visit them. It will not be 15 years. He will visit them in Philadelphia, but he's got a movie to shoot, and then he's got something else, and this and that. He's a real jet setter.
He's
But
a
you know what? They fly from Philadelphia to London, so you could stop over
he
if you
could. He's a
want.
busy beaver.
Um, but then he basically like he told her, "I still love you." Like
Yeah,
so,
it's really
yeah. Like don't forget me.
yeah, like come visit
Yeah.
me. Like, whoa. It was
Yeah,
weird.
like,
That
I
was
mean,
wild.
this is not done. Sorry, Goulet. This is not done.
Mm-mm. That's not over.
Do you think they ever meet up again?
No. Yeah,
I mean, if
maybe.
Charlie's smart, they don't.
I mean, if all it takes is him pumping out some awful song every few years, then no.
I still love you, you know.
Yeah, but I think Dawson, like, how much older was she than Julie? I'm just saying if
Well, they all
he's
went to college together. I assume they're all in their
yeah,
40s.
so I mean, if he's betting women
Yeah.
of Julie's age, I don't think he might, and I don't mean that in a
Yeah,
oof.
but that's the one that got away. You said it earlier. I think that
Yeah, but I don't know, is it enough for her to still, like, want him to satisfy his ego or just
yeah, I
see,
don't
this is
know.
why we need, like, an after boat
After the
show.
boat. After the boat.
Jeez.
We're almost done. Steubing apologizes to Swit for not spending much time with her. Who cares?
Yeah, who
It's
cares?
like unnecessary. Doc asks Swit to marry him.
Of
Um,
course, the next logical step.
right. But the Russian music is playing, and so we get a very dramatic comparison of our two nations. And you know what, Mike? They're not as dissimilar as you might think.
This is Rocky 4, what's going on?
I have the same.
It's exactly what it is.
That's the next note.
If we can.
If you can change and I can change, finally, all caps, we are back in Steubing's office. And this almost feels like they shot it after because they needed to clean up some stuff, but this didn't clean
It
it up
didn't.
either. So
No, it just made it stand out even more.
from the grave, Georgina tells about Vicky's third birthday, where apparently Steubing sent a gift. Now the dad died when she was 3.
Right.
So is this right after the dad dies? Is this before the dad dies? Is this why the dad died?
Oh, the gift. Steubing was like,
It's
heck
covered in
no,
rice
none of my.
and
Steubing mailed a pipe bomb to the child's father. Um, I they're bending time so much here that it's really hard to. I don't know.
I
I don't
just don't know
know.
why you wouldn't do just I
Just
we
keep it
should not be
simple.
confused. We watched this what? I watched it twice. I assume you
Yeah.
watched it a couple of
Yeah.
we don't know what happened. This is not
No.
that complicated. Come on.
No. It's but why use like why aid a character with like the benefit of flashbacks if the flashbacks themselves don't lead you to any solid conclusion
Nope.
at
Nope.
the end of the you we know as much now as we knew then.
Yeah. we know as much now as we did before we watched it.
Ugh.
I'm still confused. Anyway, we get the maudlin sadness of Steubing, and that's it. We're done. Tune in
Goodbye.
to part 4 of Centennial. So,
God, what a bummer. It's a way to end it.
yeah, it was.
Like,
Yeah, this was.
they're really,
Yeah,
for Emmy submittal. I'll tell you what, I will not vote. He will not get my vote for best performance by a crew member for this. No way.
yeah.
You know what? I want to see
Isaac's
tears.
still winning, as far as I'm concerned
Isaac's
with
the
that one.
man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those in a recap for this week. Like I said, I think a 60-minute version of this where they take out the newlyweds and cut down a lot of the Russia stuff
yeah. And the unnecessary camera shots where
is
Gopher's mouth
great.
isn't moving. It's just,
Because it's not like our leader this season is like beyond reproach. But
wow.
this was not, it was too much. It was a victim of its own excess.
It's too much. It's too much. But I also would love to see the ratings for this.
Just this particular episode.
Well, I would love to see the ratings for this broken down by like 15-minute increments
Oh
just to
god.
see like
Oh
where are
god.
people jumping off of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, it was a one act play for me. Like,
Yeah,
so
we talking about Act 7. Like, stop it.
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
If you're gonna do a 90-minute episode, then make it a special cruise. Don't give me the same cruise for 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's
You
fair.
know?
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta get off the
that's
boat
all.
or something.
Go to
Yeah.
Alaska. Do something. Go the other way.
Go to Maine. I heard
You
I
go to
heard
Maine. They have
you
lots
can
of
put
real estate in boat pods.
your Captain of the week, best of the week.
Oh, come on. Richard Dawson, man. Richard Dawson.
Yeah.
Not even the character. Richard Dawson. What a legend.
I gave it to that whole storyline. I think all 3 of them were really good.
Yeah, me too.
Sucks. No Goulet, no Dawson ever again. We do get Julie at Mills a few more times,
Mhm.
including I think her next episode, her sister comes on with her,
Oh, excellent.
which will
Excellent.
be fun. But no, I thought they were really good, and especially with the rest of this nonsense.
Yeah.
And I thought Vicky was really good. Well, I thought she was good in the beginning. I thought she was fine in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm okay with seeing how she comes along. I'm not like automatically resenting that she's going to be on. So
I just don't think it's necessary to add a character. I think of like Different Strokes when what's his name, with the redheaded kid, and they always like to,
Sam,
like they always add, it's not necessary. I feel like we have a good
are you sure it's not
recipe here.
necessary? Do you think it's working? I mean, I don't know that this is working. No, I think if they had tried to solve the consistency problem, and again, here's the problem. We have 25, 27, 30 episodes in between that
Yeah.
adding. So, like I said, I don't think it bodes well for the rest of season 2.
Well, especially if they have to go back to it. Like,
Right.
oh, geez, things are, you know
Yeah.
what?
Now,
Maybe you're right.
again,
Maybe it's the best thing to do as like to anchor some sort of consistency to Steubing,
right. It's
because
like
I
here,
feel like it's,
you're yeah.
yeah, I just
That's
feel
my
like it's a
thought.
better show when he's consistent.
My thought is though that we are going to go through season 2 and find the reasons they came to that decision.
Oh, that's my fear. That's
Yes.
my fear.
That's I don't I'm gonna say this. I think we might have seen the best of Stewie for season 2.
Oh, boy,
Yeah, there we go.
boy, that
We'll
is a
see if
low
that
bar,
prediction comes
sir.
true.
Oh boy. All right. Well,
We'll walk the plank, worst of the week.
oh gosh, I don't know where. I'm not sure where to start. Number one, part of me wants to say liver and onions, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just my disdain. Uh, I I'm really at a loss with this. I would say in general, I would say the newlywed storyline if I had to pick one thing, but if I had to pick a person, I would pick the aunt dropping the
Yeah.
kid off. I don't know if it's the worst, but there was so much bad it's here. It's in this that it's hard to kind of figure out what I dislike the most.
I went with the Russia thing just because it was really a one trick, and I just generally don't like that. And I know we're going to get more of it. I just need to get over it. Not anybody's fault. It was what it was.
Was there
Um,
another episode where we had two crew member storylines in the course of one episode? Because I'm thinking maybe they should have gotten rid of the Doc storyline from this. Because, like you said, it was. I'm just wondering, do they normally have?
I'd have to go back and think about it, but yeah, top of my head, it's not
Because they were heavy
generally. 'Cause, I
too,
mean, we've had episodes where they don't have any crew storylines,
right?
right?
But it
Like,
was heavy,
so
like Doc
yeah,
with
you're right.
the emotional and
Yeah,
Merrill with his close-ups.
yeah, it was a
What
lot.
a stink! How did they think to
Also,
put? Hmm.
special. The irony is this will probably be our longest episode, but the stretching
Oh,
deserves its own award. That was because now we've had three long episodes. We had two 2-part episodes,
mm-hmm.
and now we've had 90 minutes, and we're going to get more of these 90 minutes
Yeah,
apparently. The first 2-parter did not feel stretched except for the couple Caper Crew
yeah. I agree. I
bits,
agree.
right?
Yeah.
The second one,
Well, it felt concise, like it
yes,
felt together. It wasn't
exactly.
choppy. Yeah,
The second one felt very stretched, but not in like a one scene thing. It
right,
more like this, where it
right.
was like, but
You
that
just
was like
drag her.
here's a whole episode that's basically not the Love Boat. Was
Yeah,
basically what they did. This was just like scripting problems for
yeah.
them.
I just not a fan. Not a fan.
Anyway, that's totals in a recap. But now it's time for the mailbag.
Oh, let me check the old mailbag, Mike.
Very
Oh,
exciting.
look, we have mail. Third week in a row.
3 weeks in a row. Good job, everybody.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Let me read you a couple snippets. Email says, wanted to send a quick note to say thanks for making your podcast. My husband is just relieved I've stopped listening to true crime. I think he was starting to get a bit paranoid.
Wait till you hear that Steuben killed Vicky's
Yeah, yeah, just wait.
stepdad.
This might be right up your alley. Uh, Also here saying she mentioned something that you can get room service hot dogs on a Princess cruise, and they're absolutely delicious.
Ooh, better
I
than
would
liver and
love
onions.
delivery. Yeah, deliver. Yeah.
Probably not better than flaming duck, though.
No, how is that kid's food? What
Well, it
what
wasn't.
kid is the liver
It
and
wasn't.
onions?
That's why.
Bunch of
Oh, well,
nonsense.
yeah, but neither's flaming duck. Yeah, chicken fingers on this boat, Merrill?
Yeah, no kidding. Do they have chicken finger? Um, Not sure how long you'll be able to keep this up, but I appreciate the laughs and the insightful nautical critique. In the meantime, see you in the Acapulco Lounge. Jen from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh,
Thanks,
thank you,
Jen.
Jen. Thanks
Appreciate that.
everybody for writing in. I like that we asked for it and it only took, 30 something episodes, but
Yeah,
it's nice
I
to hear
mean,
that people are listening and we like to hear your feedback.
we still would love to know where the Canadian Walk of Fame. We've at this
Right.
point we're starting to speculate
That
where it
is
might
the
be.
that is the lingering question.
It
That's the
is.
one hanging. That's the only that and who is Vicky Stubing's father. So,
That's right. That's right. A couple cliffhangers.
yeah. Plugs?
Plugs. You can find us on Instagram at Loveboat Project. Look for the reels. Join our Facebook group, Facebook Loveboat Project on Facebook. You can find us anywhere you find your audio podcast: Spotify, Apple, Google Music, iHeartRadio. The list goes on and on. You can also, if you want to see our shiny faces, we are also on YouTube at the Love Boat Project. So come check us out. Also, email. How could I forget to give I'm so
Jeez.
drunk with an
Yeah,
email of
that's too
3
many
emails.
emails. Yeah,
Yeah, I forget
exactly.
to give. So our email address is theloveboatproject@gmail.com.
And I would say, thank you for all the emails, but let's get some of those reviews and all those podcast
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. You could put a review. It goes a long way.
We got to get
Uh,
rid of that one a-hole on Spotify that didn't give us a 5. So we got to
yeah, I
get
want to know who he is.
I believe we both looked ahead a little bit to next week, which
We
will be
did.
episode 33 for us. Do you want to give your tidbit?
Well, my tidbit is episode 33. Two things. Number one, Jamie Lee Curtis
Yeah,
is
how
on the
about
show.
that? That was nice, but this is exactly how you get big stars, right? You get
Yeah.
them before. Like, that's
Oh,
probably pre-Halloween.
super. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Jimmy Walker's back on the boat this week, or next week, I should say. And this time he's a ghost.
Ghosts.
So that should be fun and plausible all at the same time.
Question before we watch it.
Hmm.
Will they even now, because now we saw that awesome graphic at the end where they had Vicky's face melt into Stubing's face.
Oh,
Are
boy.
we gonna
Yeah.
are we going to get like Jimmy Walker kind of ghostly, or is it gonna
Oh,
be just
going through
Jimmy Walker?
walls.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
going to
just
get
like,
Jimmy
is it
Walker.
gonna be like, whatever what
He's going to be
level of
Jimmy.
special effects are we
Like,
getting?
they're like, here's how it's going to be like quiet on set, quiet on set. Jimmy Walker's in place. And you're like, look, extras. Don't look at JJ. That's how we're going to show you he's a ghost. Nobody look at him. If he talks,
Oh,
ignore
what if
him.
they just do voiceover, or if he's like a box? He's just like a talking box with
What if he's
eyes.
just of his voice, like you said, like it's
Yeah,
just
he's just not
in
even there.
somebody's. Oh,
Ugh.
not good.
No, I'm already mad. I think the dissertation cruise lady is also involved in that plot. So
Oh, is she writing another dissertation
we're
poolside? Is it
starting to
about
get some return champions from last year. So that's always fun. But
fine by me? I love to see a
that's
familiar face.
for next week. As for this week, that's it for us. Thanks everybody for joining us. And we will talk again next week.